2, 1, -1.
Hello, YouTube.
We are live.
Oh my gosh.
We are live. The world is watching, Bernd. So,
Is this a weird time to get self-conscious?
Yeah. No, it's the best time to get self-conscious. It's the best time.
well, the crowd will start. We'll start joining here soon. But welcome everybody.
Yeah.
Einen wunderschönen guten Abend.
I wish we could see on our end how many people were in here, but only Mike gets to see that.
15.
I can't see that.
That's cool. I think it's a good thing because then you don't get too cocky. Your little Canadian ass is like, well,
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that is fair.
Good shit.
God shaved the queen. Does she have a lot of body hair? Is that what you're saying? That
look at Devin's name.
How do you know that, Devin? You answered straightforward no. How do you know that?
I mean,
no, I want to know. I want to know. How do you know?
That's fair. Well, I assume that because she's a lady of class and leisure, that she probably manages that pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah. But then again, she is also British, which, that could
she's English to be correct, right? English, right?
So, well, technically she is French.
Yeah.
So, because she's of Norman descent.
Let's just have you dig deeper into your fucking royal family.
Love of the Queen.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just have you dig deeper into that and the vast amount of knowledge that you seem to have known about her.
Okay.
So she's English? Is she French? Is she?
Well, she's technically British.
No, Devin, you get that completely wrong because the roots of the Queen are in Germany. If you like it or not, that's the truth. Yeah. So that goes when you go on the line back. The roots of the royal family is German.
Right.
If you like it or not, that's a fact.
That is fact.
Uh-huh.
And but her direct line comes from Normandy, actually, in France, and then she's got all the people that have been intermarried into the royal family, and she's actually British, not just English, but British, because there's Scottish in there too, which the island of Britain would be Scotland and England, so and Wales and stuff like that. So, but there's not a lot of Welsh in the royal family, so.
So why do you say shave her?
I'm glad that I'm not a British advisor. If I would have to know all of that, oh my gosh.
That's a dumpster fire being a British advisor. So
I know she has to be shaved. That's my question.
Well, because a lot of people look up to her, and she's got to be a face of a whole country, and not just a whole country, I guess.
So her head needs to be shaved like Britney Spears?
I mean, if she did, there'd probably be a lot of questions, but ultimately there'd be a lot of weird cult members that really like her that would probably shave their head.
Yeah, well.
God.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
She's one of the biggest influencers in history without really being social on the internet. She was doing it before it was cool, like with the Suez Crisis, where she kind of just suggested that I really don't like the fact that Egypt is touching the Suez Canal, and next thing you know, paratroopers are bombing orphanages. So
how exactly do paratroopers bomb orphanages?
With hand grenades and stuff.
So they parachute while dropping hand grenades?
You'd be surprised. But that's where and also one of the few times depleted uranium rounds were used in urban environments, and that was a big problem later. And
we're in a big problem from the British royal family. Weird.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's all the British royal family. It's just a series of problems, but
right. So why do you look up to them? Why do you worship them?
I don't worship them.
I mean, let's be honest here. You're fascinated and you love them.
No, the Queen's all right. I didn't give a shit about Philip. He just died.
That's true.
Yes.
Bernd is sitting there, just like everything's silent. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, like, I didn't care about Philip at all, and I really don't like certain members of the royal family. Like after the Queen is gonna die, and then her son's gonna take over, and I really, really don't like him. So
I think internationally you are there in pretty good company.
Yeah, not a lot of people. Not a lot of people like a lot of
that man.
kids. So
yeah. So and a lot of people would wish that they skip one and go to the next one.
Yeah, William would be a much better leader than.
Yeah.
In the comments, we've got what sums us up very well. 2 Yanks, a Kraut, and a Royalist.
Fair.
I mean that is exactly what this is.
Oh gosh! And to answer the question of why it's shame the Queen,
you are the one who eats every second day brats and kraut. That's you. That's not me.
Well, that's my heritage, man. I can do that. Like,
we just want to make here clear. Yeah, that's you. That's not me.
That sounds a lot like a sympathizer to me.
Yeah, but like, listen to the way we talk, Bernd. But just say something, Bernd. Like, who is the crowd here?
You are the kraut eater. I'm the kraut.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That is fair enough. I'm the kraut eater because, America. We eat kraut for breakfast and lunch and dinner. That's what we do. So, all right. Anyway, speaking of kraut, for those who have been following the Reveille short film, which is all 4 of us on here, the 2 Yanks, the Kraut, and the Royalist, we'll grant them a pass for this like live stream. But it's awesome that so if you don't know that Bernd came on as an advisor through Jorg, which you guys have seen on my channel if you've been watching for long enough. New Year's Eve this year, he was on there shooting the shit. And I've been with Jorg not with Jorg as in a relationship wise, but like I've been like I misspoke. I fucked up. Okay,
keep going.
So I have been an associate of Jorg. I've been an associate of Jorg since about 7 years ago. We met during reenacting and all that stuff, and it was like fun because he was a smart ass, but he's also he does film, and it was so good. We did the whole "Don't Do It Again" soldier thing. We're talking, and so Jorg is a good friend of Bernd, and when I convinced Jorg to come on to this project, he then said, "Hey, Bernd, check this out." And Bernd was like, both Jorg and I were of like, no, just go away. And then all of a sudden he became involved, and he was like, okay, I'll be an advisor for the German language, the tactics, the movements, all that stuff. And then Michael Akkerman, the guy down here below me, who's got the wicked haircut, asked Bernd, he goes, well, why don't you send me some audition tapes for this role of Walter Brande?
Mike, you are jumping way too far ahead. Jörg was a pain in the butt to get me basically reading the script. He had talked to me about the movie, and then for some reason, that all sounded nice. And Jörg, and Jörg has a lot of ideas. He's a great guy, no questions about that. I love him, no questions about that. But then, and then he was a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. And finally, I really took the time and read the script. And somehow, in that time, we also had Jörg was with you guys, cell phone running around, camera looking at you and you at Jörg. And he came around and boop, sucked me into this conversation. That's exactly how he did it. He sucked me into it. And then you started to talk about it. Okay, I was listening, polite. And that is when it started to pique my interest, because there was certain information coming. I said, hey, I have heard that before. So, and then basically from there, I said, oh, just a moment. And I went away from you guys, went to my computer, and researched and found very quickly certain things. So that's how that whole thing started. And then I basically got forced from Jörg to read the script. And that is when I really got hooked, because then not a lot of paper. Yeah, just a couple of sides. Very straightforward. No bullshit. And I looked at that and I couldn't believe it. So that simple it is. I couldn't believe it. So I read again. That was a big mistake, because at that moment I was really hooked to it. And then we started to talk. And we talked advisor. And my main thing will be to make sure that our actors speak properly in native German. And then with the native dialects from the areas where they're coming from. So that is how that all started. And then Michael saw me, and at some point he just asked me if I could imagine to play a role in this movie. So that is basically how that whole thing started. And now, Mike, I'll let you go ahead. Because you had skipped over all this important stuff.
You could have interrupted me, but you just didn't do that.
No, I don't do that. I don't do
that. Michael.
Good Lord. It was interesting, because when I first started this, I think I roped Mike B into it. He got really serious, and he's like, my German friend Jorg, I'll talk to him about it. And then eventually we got Jorg onto our call like this, and Bernd here up there he was just kind of in the background chilling out, and he's like, hey guys, what's going on? And we're like, oh, hi man, what's up? And eventually he kind of heard what I guess we were talking about, and he was like, wait a second, now you're doing such and such and such and such, and we're like, and then eventually, like he just said, when he was going to his computer, he kept coming back saying, okay, listen, I found out something that you should take note of. And like, this guy's now he's getting into it. So then as it kind of drew near into the casting elements, it was all, and I mentioned this in my update video if you go to my YouTube channel, but as it kind of drew near to casting and stuff like that, I was really nervous about finding the right kind of person to play the main German squad leader in the film. Bernd is his name. And I was like, because we were talking more about it, and Bernd was giving me his thoughts on how characters should feel and what they should be doing and stuff. And I was like, hey, I think, and he also mentioned that he did some acting, so he was an actor in his own right. And I was like, well, I want to know what you would do for the character of Walter Brander if you did some audition tape. Yeah, and he did, like how you mentioned. And it was kind of like, no one else is going to be able to play this but you, Bernd. And that has the amount of knowledge and the experience, and the ability to just bring to that character what it needs, because we had some good people read for the character. However, they didn't have the, knowledge and the experience that you have, because you were in the military as well, to bring to that. So the fact that I was able to get you in on this project was just, it was, like I say, it's pure serendipity.
Serendipity.
But there's one thing I really need to point out. I did not take any influence on that decision. That decision was made by you and Mike.
Yes. No, he recused himself. He recused himself. He said, nope, because we went through all the actors. Like you said, we had a lot of very strong readers, or not a lot for that role, but like we had several very strong readers for Walter Brander. And it was the way you wrote it, we understood, and the way they performed was good.
Mm-hmm.
In their own right, it was really good, but it just was not the style of this guy he's been worn down for centuries now. Like, he's been worn down. I'm sorry, decades. I misspoke. Decades. He's been worn down for
Okay, is he like
decades.
from the Franco-Prussian War? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, Bernd is he's invincible. He lives forever. He's got this thing. No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. But this guy's been worn down for several decades at this point, and it's like this guy is like, okay, I'm here. I'm a German soldier. I'm gonna still do a great job because I'm a professional. But man, I'd rather be at home. Really, really badly. Like I'd rather be at home.
Yeah.
But he's still extremely professional. Like German soldiers were very good at what they did. They're very professional. They're just like the United States, the Soviets, the Italians, the British. Like they're very professional. They're really good at what they do. But when it comes down to like their personal stuff, it's like, man, this is going on too long. I just want to be home.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's the character Brander, because he fought in the First World War, and now he's in this war. It's never blatantly stated in the film, but if you pay attention, you can pick up on these cues.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. And he's pretty much, well, and it's in the chapter that this movie is based on, that's how Murphy describes squad leader in it. Yeah, he says he's too old to be still in the field doing this sort of thing, but he's really been thrown in by the machine to keep doing this. And what's really interesting though is because one thing that I noticed, now I'm not a professional by any means. I'm a student when it comes to all of this stuff. And one thing I noticed though, when it comes to researching like the German military and all that stuff, is that, like you said, Mike, it's very professional. And I'm so glad that I actually do have real life Germans, especially Germans who are in the military, to advise and act in this film, because I've seen a lot of films and a lot of shorter films that when they depict like the Germans, usually there's like screaming at each other and stuff and going crazy, you know, Feuerfrei, and Sanitäter and all this type of stuff. And it's like, from what I've understood, Germans are always they've always been very the German commander, from what I understand, was always very calm and direct. They were never like crazy screaming orders and such. And Bernd, I think I think you understand that more than me, and Mike and most Americans. So I think that I'm just so glad that actual Germans are playing German soldiers in this movie.
Right.
So that's also one of the points where I'm as advisor as well as in the movie as a squad leader now really see the lead role guiding the other guys into the actual behavior we would have seen at that time. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there because the guys were guys, and if you are not in combat or on your way to combat, there was a camaraderie going on, and they joked around, and they wanted to have the good life too. That's just there, and that's what we want to bring out there too. That in the part where we are not already in combat or whatever comes later on, that there is just also the very relaxed, easygoing guy, the old man like me, the young kid. Which we have more than one, and then also the middle age between, and still that they just have a certain way of going along with each other as humans and why they are soldiers. So that's very important to me also to bring that into this, because that's how it truly is.
I completely agree. And again, I think that with your experience, and the fact that you'll be working closely with the rest of these actors, that you guys will be able to really, portray that, because that's about as authentic as you can get when it comes to this. And that's exactly what we're going for. And also, again, we've talked about this. You mentioned it in our update video, how this is you guys are going to be not only speaking German, but like correct 1940s dialect German from not only different parts of the country, but using like correct period, like time, like 1940s era slang terminology from German.
Yes.
So
that's very important. Also, we wanna really transform into that time. Yeah, we wanna give a real picture of what happens there, and that's my understanding about it. And the real picture includes to use the language as they had used it, and that is where the part gets tricky, because we need to get the guys to understand that and then to speak it. Yeah, and that's where Jörg and I really have a focus on, that we have them for the set then right and ready and good to go. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, this Sunday, we're gonna do the full read through, and that's when we do that full read through. Once we're done with that, we'll be able to start talking about specifics like that. And as we draw nearer to the production, we're going to be doing more of those reads, and each one is going to be getting more and more intense and detailed when it comes to what everyone needs to do.
So the point is that we are lucky. We do have a native Austrian in the team. So we just basically have to pick up from there and make sure that we get him into the right period of time. Yeah, but he will be able directly to have this sweet Austrian background noise in his voice, and so because it's just natural to him. And we have a guy from Saxony with us, and that will help. Yeah, and there's the same thing. We just have to make sure that what is spoken fits to the time. And so we are lucky. We have 2 Americans which are playing a German role, and there it will be very interesting, especially as one has quite a bit of speaking.
Yes.
I want to tell more, but
he's also pretty good at it. Like let's be honest. Like he's already about 80% of the way there from what we've all talked about, and between you and Jorg, it's going to be pretty easy for you guys to like guide him into where a native speaking German is going to go, oh, that guy's from Bavaria.
Yeah.
The guy's from Bavaria. And
he already knows like 3 other languages or something, so.
Yeah. Yep.
Plus the American Sign Language.
Yeah. That's one.
Yes.
American Sign Language.
So it is 5. Yeah. It is 5. Yep. It is 5. So yeah.
But, and he like wants to get this down really well, so he's willing to learn and follow direction and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so are all the actors. Like it's cool. Like all the actors, both German and American, are so on board with this. Like they're so fired up. Like I know some actors are just like, yeah, okay, I got a gig, and I'm gonna whatever. But they're actually like, because I'm a nerd, I send them pictures of their helmet being done or some things, or like I messaged our lead American today with the video that you sent me of Audie Murphy's sister, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually going to be meeting with a speech coach soon."
Yeah, he told me that today.
Yep, and so it's really good. Everybody is so dedicated and fired up, and then the one actor who's going to be portraying a German soldier who's actually Polish, he's fluent in Polish, and he's fluent. It's going to be when he speaks the lines in Polish in the film, it's going to be 100%. Because I presented his audition tape to a couple people that I know who are from Poland, they're native Polish people, and they said, yeah, he's from northern Poland. Like his dialect is it's 100% accurate, but like he's and so that's the level of detail we're going to, and he's going to be working with the American guy that is also an American Polish guy.
Yep.
And he's going to be working with him on his couple lines that he has when they're speaking Polish. And it's going to be, so that's the thing is like, it's really cool to see the actors so fired up about this. Like the crew is fired up, but it's like the actors are also like, this is something that is really new to me and like very cool. And I want to do this and I want to get it right. And it's just been really cool to see that and hear that from these guys. Yeah, because it's going to make the film so much better because they're so fired up and willing to go the extra mile to get it right. They don't just want to show up and collect a paycheck and whatever. It's not that kind of thing. It's like, no, they're into it. They're into it. Yep.
Well,
That is the whole concept Michael has here prepared, basically, that we have a couple days in advance where we can actually work face to face. Yeah, right now everything is in distance and through a medium like this, and then we have a couple days in advance where we can work them, and they are willing to do that with us. So that's already very cool. Yeah,
Right.
not just come with that and then say, okay, I know my lines, what I'm supposed to do. No, they really want to work with us a couple days in advance to make sure that the movements are right, that they know how to behave and these things, and that we can practice. Yeah, so that's really great, and they are willing to do that. Yeah, and
Right. And another thing that they were saying, like when we were saying, yeah, we're going to do some training before we actually start shooting, like a couple days, and we're like, yeah, you're going to be separate from the Germans, and they go, really? And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, that's really a good idea. Like, that's really cool, because when we meet them, it's going to be when we're shooting,
mm-hmm.
you know, and like, because I haven't interacted with much of the Germans, but like, the Americans, all the actors that we've interacted with are like, wow, that's like really cool. It's not like the norm, you know, of like everybody's just kind of, you know, doing their thing, and like, no, you're gonna be separate intentionally.
Yep.
And the first time you see each other is gonna be on screen, and that's realistic to, if you're in a war, you don't know these people, you don't know them, you just meet them, and it's gonna add an element of realism that's not able to be acted. It's just gonna happen with their human body language.
Right. Yeah. The training is happening separately, which it's funny. It is kind of strange, you know, orchestrating this whole project, because you're dealing with actors over here and actors over here, and it's like, when I look at guys, you know, like the guys who are playing, you know, the American guys, like, okay, this guy's got his stuff down, this guy's doing this is great. And it's like, oh yeah, I got this whole other world over here to deal with too, you know, and it almost seems like two separate things. It's because they are. So
it is. Yeah. So, and
so
that is what it actually would be. Yeah. So I mean, these guys in Audie Murphy's book, they never have seen each other before. They meet in that situation, and they don't know each other. Everyone does a job for his country, yeah, and then the whole thing is going on and has happened, but they don't know each other, and that's exactly what we achieve here. They don't know each other when we are going into the shoot. Yeah. And we will have that, so that's so cool. Yeah, I just think it's cool.
Oh, it's absolutely cool. And we just, you know, it's a thing though, to where we have all these guys logged down and everything like that. We're in pre-production. We're getting all this stuff ready, and we just still need a lot of support. So again, as we've talked about in all of these, please spread the word. Donate if you can. It's really essential to the whole thing. And follow the Facebook group too. We got updates there almost on a daily basis. So good stuff.
It's very important. As more you guys support this project, as more detailed we can be. Yeah. And the goal is, I know everyone who is watching this right now, including us four here, we know all the war movies. We have them seen all, and we are sick of it. That simple it is.
Yes.
We want to have the real thing, and that's what we are talking here about, the real thing. That's why Mike is hooked. That's why I am hooked. Yeah, that's why Jörg is hooked. That's why Devin is hooked. And that is what Michael has created. Yeah, so, and help us with it, please. That's what I can say.
I mean, all these gents right here, you know, they've all donated. So, I mean, they're totally down for this, which tells you something, because these guys are not an easy audience.
Right. It's fun, but I mean, it's just, when we get out there and start filming in November, which is very rapidly approaching, it's gonna be so cool. And then do you want to talk about the way it's gonna be?
Mike, I just have to get this for my hoof here, because you have showed me the you know what I mean?
You want me to show that shit? Okay.
Oh yeah, please do me the favor.
Flex a little bit.
It is so cool, guys. It is so cool.
So Okay, I gotta give the backstory though. I have to give the backstory.
Okay.
So Bernd came to me and said, "Yeah, I have a 58 centimeter head size," and I said, "Shit," because that requires me to get a bigger shell size, and I wanted him to have an M35 shell for all you nerds, right? And I was like, shit, that's gonna be more expensive. Anyway, I found a source in Czechia or Czech Republic for you guys that haven't updated, who found an M35 shell that was used in Czech fire service from the end of the war up until the 90s. And I decided to kind of make this in the image that Bernd's character, who probably served, like, let's be honest, in France, and then in North Africa, and then in Sicily, and then now in Italy. But the most recent would have been North Africa and Sicily, which is the same kind of climate and vegetation. So he's got an original shell. This is an SE66 for all you nerds. Double decal that is painted up in the Africa Corps scheme with the very textured sand paint and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very worn too. It's very extremely worn.
Bernd is nerdy out right now.
Yeah, I know. And then the liner Bernd is going to have to actually age this a little bit because I mean the liner.
Yeah.
But also the other American advisor, Brian, we were talking about this and he's like, yeah, but they painted the inside of the skirt too. And he showed me a bunch of original examples and I said, oh shit, you're right. So they painted the inside of the skirt because if they were to set it down,
they would see that, yeah.
The original apple green, which you can see kind of underneath the liner, is going to stand out. So they would have painted that, and yeah. So
cool.
Yeah. Yep. It's a pretty cool helmet. It's very use and abuse. You can tell this guy has been through a lot of shit. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. All of the German helmets. I mean, because the U.S. helmets, they're all pretty they're all kind of the same. And even though we're getting them very correct as well, but yeah, the German stuff, it's all very unique, and there's other ones where we had to do some serious work, and I'm really glad that you will put the time and the money and everything into getting those helmets 100% right.
Yeah, it's also very fun.
A lot of people simply get wrong is they have a picture from the German army, and they are all uniform.
Yep.
In 1943, at the end of 1943, the German army was not uniform anymore.
Yep.
It was starting to fall apart.
Yep.
And because of that, you have so many different influences, uniforms, helmets, depending where you with Rommel, Africa, one thing. Where you in Russia, Stalingrad, completely different deal.
Yep. Were you in Denmark? Were you in the Netherlands, in France, and then you got transferred down here?
Right. Complete different deals. Every time you are talking something about complete different deals. And now you go to 43, the end of 1943, and suddenly you find in Italy, where the Germans are on retrieve and getting new, fresh guys in, which come from wherever they were just available. And suddenly there is nothing uniform anymore. Yes, there is a basic line of uniforms. That's true. But there is not one guy has the same clothes as the other one.
No.
That's a misconception which a lot of people, and I see it so often also in reenactments, have. And there's also certain expectations that people say that thing has to have this mark or has to have that mark. They had in Germany scrap drives and usable item drives, which could go to the front in order to support what was needed there. That had nothing to do anymore with uniform. Everybody had the same. There was a lot.
Whatever you can get. Whatever you can get.
that is where Mike did a fantastic job in creating for each character a background story.
He did,
Well,
yeah.
we'll do a little sneak peek. We'll do a little sneak peek. Bernd, this is also for you. This needs to be sun bleached a lot. It needs to be out there and
You
worn.
just want to make me work again, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I knew it. He wants to. He wants to
There's his
make me-
costume.
Yeah.
Yep. And so this is one of the tunics. It's a tropical M40 tunic, and then it's got the Africa Corps Litzen. They'll be sun bleached to shit. And then the Panzergrenadier Unterfeldwebel shoulder boards.
Yep.
And so it's also very small, which Bernd is a very small guy. Let's be honest.
There's a truth to that. Don't
I
make
could
it.
probably get one leg in this. I could probably get one leg in here.
There would be severe pants splittage if that happened.
Right. But no, so this is we gotta have the Reichs Adler and everything put on there, which we will. But and then some other little details which Michael was talking about earlier, that we'll be able to tell you that this guy is a World War I veteran, if you're paying attention enough. But we'll wait for the film when you see that. Nice little flash. But yeah, the Schulterklappe und die Litzen in the Tresse. That's this is gonna be what Bernd is gonna be wearing. It's gonna be a lot more bleached though. So sneak peek, you guys saw this. You guys saw this.
This is Bernd's ID tag too, for Brander.
Erkennungsmarker. Yeah, Erkennungsmarker.
Yeah, blood type A. So I'm going to be mailing that stuff to him so he can get to work on aging it and everything. So when he comes out to Hollywood, he'll have all this with him and he'll be all kitted out.
Yep, get all the pit stains in it and everything.
Yep. Exactly. Yep, exactly.
He's going to be installing ponds, wearing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Put some tape. Put some duct tape.
I'm wearing already with me the Soldbuch. I have that already with me.
Yep.
That's good, yeah, because he had those made.
It's already aging. Yeah, so it's already. I have not fallen in the pond yet, but and I hope I don't. But in 20 years, I did it once, so there is a chance. Yeah.
That's another interesting element about this whole thing, yeah, because we're having the you know how to pronounce it better than me, the Zoldbuch, the identification.
Zoldbuch, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep. And we're having those made for all the Germans in the squad, and for the main guys who in the film, Jorg, our other German advisor, he's like a fanatic when it comes to actual old school cameras with film and everything.
Yep,
he's taking actual photographs of the guys, you know, like posing how they would for those booklets. So it's going to be actual photographs of them using old, like 1940s cameras with the actual stamp on them and everything.
And even that for the time right way of developing the pictures.
Yeah.
So it's not just using the old cameras, it's also the way they will be developed is exactly right for that time.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, yeah.
It's as close as it's going to be to like the real thing. But someone just asked me, is Devin going to be in it? Well, that depends if Devin wants
in spirit.
In
spirit, basically, yeah.
Devin will be there in spirit. Devin works his ass off many hours.
I am taking advantage of this labor shortage very heavily.
Yep. Devin's making bank. He's planning for the future, and he will probably not be out on set, but like, if I have a question or some shit and I have to ask him, he's there. And
I'll be available.
Devin has put up money for the film, though, so we do appreciate that.
To all non-smokers out there, I'm doing this because I have to get trained for the role in the movie. There is a part where I actually have to smoke. So I have to practice for that already.
Bernd doesn't smoke. Bernd doesn't smoke. Bernd hasn't smoked in about he's doing this to get into the role, and Bernd doesn't smoke like a chimney in his normal life. He doesn't do that.
No. Every time I've streamed with him, he's just practicing for smoking. Yeah.
Right. Even before he had the role, he was practicing for the role of smoking. So
Yeah.
he's that dedicated. So I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh gosh.
That is true though. There is the cigarettes are a big element of this movie though.
Yeah, and so far all the actors have said, yeah, I'll do it for the film. And yes, to answer the subsequent questions that are going to come, there will be real cigarettes in the film. People will be smoking them. They will be historically accurate as fuck, and we'll get all the packs, everything right. So yeah, they will be smoking. The guys that did smoke, Audie Murphy didn't smoke, so he's not going to be smoking.
No.
But it was, there were some guys that didn't smoke, and he's one of them. The rest of them who did smoke will be smoking cigarettes, and they'll actually be smoking on camera. So.
Oh yeah.
Chewing.
There's one guy who chews tobacco.
Actually chewing, like not like dipping, but actual chewing. And yeah, he's going to be doing that, and he's going to be really good at it. And he's going to be able to talk and whatever. Yeah, no, we're going all out as much as we possibly can.
So. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And we might eventually get Yale on here, but Yale, my producer, I was just talking to him the other day, and he was on board with a lot of stuff that we want to do, because he's kind of the guy who says, okay, this is possible and this is not possible, which I understand there has to be someone to do that. And he was very, very enthusiastic about everything that we have planned so far.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's going to just make the film. It's funny because like we're talking about this for months. We're putting all these hours and all this effort for a 30-minute film.
Yeah.
If you think about it, for a 30-minute, like our stream has been going on for 41 minutes so far. And so the point of it is like we're going to get this so correct and something that people watch over and over again and go, oh wow, this is good. And then long term, we're trying to go for more than this and trying to break this cycle of the Hollywood shit.
Yeah.
But it all starts with this. And this is a grassroots thing. This is, and I'm telling you what, it has to be a grassroots movement.
All right, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah. But it really is.
To support this. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is. And so, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And then the thing is, like, when you guys that have donated, you guys are going to see it before everyone else. When you guys watch this, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's what these guys have been rambling about for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Right.
It's going to be nice to see something that's not a reboot, a remake, or a superhero movie.
It's original.
Yeah.
Well,
that is actually what brought us together, that we wanted to create something real. Yeah, I mean, we cannot kill the guys there, that we cannot do, but we can get very close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what we want. Yeah, we want to bring it as close as possible to the real thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what we really are working for. Mike and I, we talk nearly on a daily basis, sometimes for hours.
Yep.
Yeah, Devin and Mike are often in
contact. Brian, the guy, Brian's very busy. He's got a day job. Yeah. He's got a life, which Jesus, I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah.
It's always amazing when we are talking how suddenly, from just brainstorming, suddenly a little thing cling,
bam,
and then
yep.
Yeah, and then we start discussing from out and all, and that brought us already a lot of details, which we integrated in the movie too. Yeah, and that's really
cool. Yeah, I mean, like I get updates, every day, and my producer Yale was telling me yesterday that he knows people because we do have cameras for this movie, red cameras, which are some of the best out there. But he was able to get a package of vintage Zeiss lenses for them, which is like going to be the ultimate vintage cinematic look you can imagine for this. And that's kind of what we want to go for in terms of the look of the film. It's supposed to look like old school Kodachrome film. It's not going to replicate Saving Private Ryan, but it's going to have that kind of raw, Kodachrome look to it that you always see from like those old school, color film footage.
Yeah, the really high definition where the colors pop.
Yeah,
and it's so real, like the way they're moving and everything. Yeah, it's when you told me that, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Like that's awesome because size glass is the best in the world for
best glass
everything.
in the world. Yeah,
it's the best glass in the world. Oddly enough, German, but like it's the best glass for everything. Binoculars, scopes, film, just anything you want. It's the best, most clear and effective glass in the world for anything. And you've got that for your cameras, which are also the best in the world for what we're doing. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty insane. So
oh yeah, it's gonna look better. It's gonna look a million times better than most multi-million-dollar films look.
Well, and even us that are working on it, we're going to be out there and we're going to go through all the work of like be on set and everything. We've already done this work. We'll look at this film and kind of just go, holy shit. That's what I think is going to happen. Like, we're going to look at that and be like, holy shit. This is...
we are not joking around. Yeah, we are not joking around here.
Right,
That's what it is. Yeah, we don't sit here and just have a good time. We are actually going for a goal. And... So, and we will reach this goal. I know that. And
that's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Yeah. It's not a question of if. It's like we're going to do it. It's not gonna. Yeah, it's going to happen.
So, someone just asked in the chat here, will there be background music in the film? No,
nope.
The movie, is completely. It's just the raw sound. I mean, it's going to be very. It's going to be very highly. Choreographed when it comes to sound effects, mixing, and all that, but it's not going to be like there's not going to be any music, there's not going to be any kind of cinematic stuff to it. It's all going to feel very grounded and raw. Even during the credits, you're just going to hear the ambience of the environment, still lingering in there while the credits play. So no music at all.
Yep, it's just going to be what it was.
It's start and that's it.
The emotion in that movie.
Right, everybody's going to have a different reaction too, because the music's not telling you what to think. The music's not telling you what to think and when to think. It's It's just going to be you think what you think when things happen. So yeah.
That is also, I think, one of the things I really loved from the beginning on. Michael had a certain vision of this movie as an artist. And when you talk with artists, they have a little bit different perspective. When you go to Hollywood, Hollywood wants to entertain. An artist not necessarily wants to entertain, has a complete different approach to something. I think that's what is catching us here, what is catching Mike as well as Devin, as Brian, Jörg, me. This different approach to it, which allows the viewer later on actually to make up his own mind. And this movie is not there to please.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah. So that this movie is to tell a story as it was.
Yes.
Nasty.
Raw and just absolutely. Well, and someone said in here that no music is a bit of a strange choice. I understand why they would feel that way. I highly encourage you to check out the HBO series Generation Kill, because they did the same thing where there's no music at all in it, and it is highly effective for what they were going for, and that is exactly what we're going for. It's that raw, ambiguous, unapologetic depiction of events.
Right, and again, it's like, I'll hammer on it again. Music in films, it bled over from the silent film era. It's meant to get your emotions up to expect what's going to happen next or what is happening. With this, you have to actually think for yourself and go, oh, that was really fucked up, or, well, that wasn't that bad.
No,
whatever comes out of your view on that scene that's happening or happened or is about to happen, that's more raw than some music trying to just kind of tell the story for you.
Yeah, see, and this guy right here in the comments, the guy who said that, he just said, yeah, Generation Kill is really good. Okay, yeah, so you do understand.
Right.
Because that show did the same thing. That's what we're doing. If you want to think about, compare the tone of this film to anything else, it's Generation Kill.
Right.
So think of it that way.
Right.
That's how we're going to depict it. But I highly encourage anyone to check out that series. But yeah, that's exactly how it is. It's not going to be. I mean, music is good for certain things. Obviously, I'm not anti.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure.
anti score at all. But for what we're doing, it's very avoiding cliche. We are eliminating a soundtrack, and that's funny because I've had a few people approach me who do movie soundtracks asking, "Hey, I want to do the score for your film. I have some really good ideas." Like, I appreciate that. However, that is not the route we are taking.
Right. No, and it's true. It's true.
Some snarky comment with like, "Yeah, I want you to make me a soundtrack in this imaginary instrument."
I want you to. What's that instrument called? That you use your hand and it's like goes like wah wah. What is that called?
Oh, for like the horror movies that has.
Yeah. What are they? What's that called?
The air vibrations. God,
yeah.
What is that called?
Damn it, I forgot. But it doesn't matter. But no, we're not using any music in it, and it's not that I'm anti-score. It's just that for what we're doing, we're not going to use it. However, the sound effects for this movie is going to be immaculate, and it's going to sound like the real thing. It's not going to sound cheap or stock sound effects. We're actually going to record a lot of sounds for this stuff.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people who are really good sound mixers because I went to film school and I have all the connections. So that's how I get all this stuff done.
Another thing that'll be fun too is like there's no like when somebody handles a weapon, there's gonna be no.
Like anytime anyone moves, it sounds like
everybody moves. Yep. Like, no, it's gonna be if they move, it's gonna be this.
Yep.
And it's like 'cause that's what it is.
Well, it's so funny
unless their equipment's fucked up and they don't have a sling attached correctly or whatever, or they don't know it. But like, it's gonna just be.
That's gonna be. It's so funny. A lot of movies, if you really pay attention, they do a lot of sound cues that you wouldn't actually hear to convey things to you. It's like your brain catches it, but you don't know.
Right, and it's again to make you think what's happening is happening.
Of course,
and this is going to be raw because in every respect, the audience, the person who's viewing this, is going to have to make the decisions and like experience that for themselves.
Piece together a lot on their own.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So someone just said here in the comments, talking about recoil and tinnitus and stuff like that. I don't want to do the tinnitus thing in this movie, but there is a part where someone does get like messed up from an artillery shell. However, I don't want it to be the, like the Saving Private Ryan type thing. I don't want to do that.
It's a little bit higher pitch in real life, but hey.
Yeah.
No, I'm fucking with you. No, but like, no, it's gonna be from an outside perspective looking in. If you come across a guy that's got tinnitus because of some sound, you're not going to hear that as much as they are.
No.
And it's going to be okay. This guy, he's not right. You can see the lines and everything, and I'm not going to give anything away on that scene, but like you could see he's not right and everything, and then you're going to be like, what's going on with him? And then you'll be able to realize as a person, like, oh, that guy doesn't hear a fucking word this guy is saying.
He's deaf.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah.
That's one thing that when we in the script, we touched on when we were talking about it, because it wasn't you thought of the idea to put that in there, so I did. And one thing that you said that you liked in it was that he's asking him like questions and stuff like that, and he answers him, but he doesn't answer him with the right answer.
He answers with an answer.
Yeah,
but it was not to the right question at all. Like,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
like side by side. And miss each other. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But they're all on the same page because the one guy goes, "You're alert. You're cognitive. You're doing your job." No, it's fine. Like, yeah, I'm not giving anything away. Trust me. But like, you're alert. You're cognitive. Okay. I guess that's all right.
I'll just leave him here. Yeah, but Also, in terms of talking about someone, you mentioned recoil. In the movie, again, I'm not giving too much away. There's only one real shot where you see someone firing.
Yep.
There's gunfire in the movie, but it's off camera. And there's only one shot in the movie where you see someone actually fire a rifle. And for that, we are actually going to do a separate shot where the guy is firing live rounds.
Live rounds. Yep.
Yeah. And
So,
so
yes, the recoil will be realistic.
Recoil, right. Yep.
It's not going to be blank ammo with a big muzzle flash on the back and just no recoil at all. You're actually is going to do the real thing.
It's the M1's gonna. It's gonna So
it's gonna kick.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean everything we've thought about, and again when we talk like so Bernd is also an advisor. Not only is he a lead role, he's also an advisor. When we talk, when Brian, my cohort that's advising the US guys with me, is talking, and we always come up with something. We'll just shoot the shit for a while, like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? All that stuff. Blah, blah, talking about funny things. Then we get into the film, and it's like, well, have we thought about this? And then Brian was like, well, what about the German grenades? I'm like, well, what about them? And he goes, well, the markings changed after 1939 and 40. And I was like, really? And so he sent me, a very well written article from a very reputable source. Yeah, the markings changed, and I was like, oh shit. At this point, they'd probably be using different, the grenades with the different markings on them. And so he's going to make a stencil for these things, like just little details like that. Like the grenades, some of them will be the old, Vorgebach Sprengkapsel einsetzen. The old marking that you see on all the grenades that were made before 1939.
Mm-hmm.
But on a lot of them, you're going to see the later markings that don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just,
some of the newer guys maybe.
Yep. But it that was a detail that I had not even considered. And Brian said, hey, did you consider this? And I was like, nope. He goes, all right, I'll send you my sources. Bam, bam, bam. I'm like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Like, that's a great detail.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, like,
go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I'm just saying that was in a conversation we were talking about. I think we were talking about pastrami, to be honest with you. We were talking about like food and stuff, and then potatoes and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, potato. Oh, speaking of potato mashers, have you, and that's how it came about. Like, so we're sitting here talking almost daily with, everybody. Like some days we don't talk because everybody's got lives and we're all busy. But like, we'll just have, either a 10-minute conversation, 3-hour conversation, a 1-hour conversation. It doesn't matter. But like in all those conversations, we always figure out one or more stupid little details that we're like, oh shit, that would be more accurate.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot more accurate. And okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's get some research done and let's figure out how to get this.
Yeah. Well, and another really great detail is that Bernd's character Brander, because he's a squad leader, he's going to have the German smoke grenade in his belt.
Right. Yep.
So that's another thing you usually never see in war movies.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. It might have happened, but I've never seen it. And yeah, so he'll be carrying a Nebelhandgranate, and that's a signal thing. Like, and then so on the other side, Audie Murphy is going to be carrying
the M16s.
Yep.
M16. Yes.
2 of them, because it's like, well, before they would have gone out, both the Germans and the Americans would have said, hey, if we're completely fucked or we need something, we've got signal grenades, like you see our smoke, okay, here's where to go. And they would have done that. And they're not using the film, of course, because things kind of happen pretty quickly, but like
they're there.
It's something they would have had on them as part of their gear.
You'll see it.
Yeah, it's insane the amount of detail. Like, yeah, it's so cool talking to all the advisors, because like every day there's something new. Yeah, exactly. And it's like
what from the beginning on really fascinated me. We all, and I really, if that is Brian, if that is Devon, if that is Mike, if that is Jörg, Michael, when he is there, we talk. But there is never this attitude of, no, I'm right. No, I'm right.
Correct.
There's always, we talk, we try to figure something out, then we try to verify it, then we come to a result, and out of the verified result, we all are in the same boat. And I cannot not remember, since we are working on this project together, and that's now for several weeks, months, I cannot remember that we had kind of a fight or anything like that. That was never happened. What happened was always that we brought facts together, that we discussed them, that we tried to verify on existing documents, and then from there made a decision and brought it to Michael.
Right.
With all the influence. And I think it's just fantastic how this all works together, because I think the common goal here is actually that this is supposed to be something as real as possible. That's the goal, and that's where we all are working on, and where we are willing to listen and to verify research.
Right. And yep, exactly. And so we've had disagreements which lead to the right answer. But in the disagreements, there's no name calling. There's no, oh, you're just dumb, you know, whatever. It's like, well, why do you think that? Why do you think that way? And okay, because of this, and then I'll go and send you my sources. Okay, that's fine. I don't agree with that. And then either it stands, or it's like, okay, now we have to go and figure out what is actually right, because it wasn't correct what somebody thought.
Right.
And it's not just me or Bernd or Jorg or Brian. It's just everybody. They go, oh, well, I was almost positive that this, you know, was a thing, but like we figure it out, and then it's like, okay, well, this is actually, and then we get original. A lot of things are original photographs.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, that's not present in any of these. And if one of us presents something that like, yeah, I think this has been there, we can't find any original photographs. It's like, well, for the sake of the film, let's leave that out then.
Fair.
You know, and it's like, for the sake of the film, until we get a lot more evidence of this. Okay, an example that was with Brian and I, we didn't disagree on this, but like we didn't know the third ID decals on the helmets.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we had to figure that out.
Because these people that are watching right now, you guys are going to get a lot of behind the scenes shit before the behind the scenes shit is released. So consider yourselves lucky. So the third ID decals on the helmets, we were convinced, Michael and I were convinced that they were on there, and Brian was like, yeah, they were on there, but hold on. And then he went and researched, and so this particular kind of battle was a result of the Salerno landings in 43. Okay, so it was the first big landings in Italy from the US, and all the helmets that we've seen did not have the decals on the sides. You would think differently from seeing To Hell and Back from the 50s, because they always had them. Even in North Africa, they had them, and whatever. And what we realize is, like, after Anzio, the second big push the third ID did up, you know, they conquered, I guess, the Rome and everything, and then they went, you know, they were on rest, and then they went up to southern France later. After that campaign, a lot of them had the third ID decals on there.
Right.
So for this film, even though it's a couple months before the Anzio campaign, it would not be correct to have third ID decals on the third ID helmets, or any decals, really. Like we were talking about, we saw a couple things that we're still discussing, but we're not going to put on them on film for the reasons that I just said. They're not going to be accurate enough, and we don't have enough original, you know, footage and photographs to make it, you know, like the bars in the back, the NCO bars and the officer bars. We don't have enough evidence that that was a common practice in any division in Italy. And so, yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say that's the kind of thing that we discussed we spent like 3 hours.
Oh yeah. Well, and then, like, because I think I wasn't initially a part of that. I think you guys mentioned it to me,
right?
And then we brought it up in the big group chat, and our Italian advisor, Luciano, because Luciano he completely specializes in the Winterland, which is where this movie takes place. And he said, he got back to us, and he sent us a bunch of photographs and stuff, and was like, no, there was no decals during this time.
Right.
okay, that confirms then after we've done all this research, and then finally he says it. So
we had a debate, and we were like, well, whatever. And then we've got people from all over the world, that are experts. Like, but he wasn't a dick about it either. Like, that was the thing. He just goes, from what I've understood and from all my research, here's all the photos that I've seen. At the Stellar Landings, it wasn't a thing.
Yep.
And that was it. It wasn't like this whole thing of like, well, you're wrong, I'm right, and I want to have these things. It's like, no, we just want to get what was right. And so, to elaborate on what Bernd said is like, we've had disagreements, we've had kind of things where we're like, well, I think I'm right on this, but it's never gotten past that. It's never gotten like to the hostility point, which is why I think that it's going to be even better, because if we have egos, we put them aside for this project, and it's just like, well, let's get this right. Okay, what is right? Oh, I was wrong for this many years. Okay, I learned something. That's how we take it. I learned something. That's cool. Like, I didn't know that, and I thought it was this way for so long, but it's not a big deal to get it right. It's like, as a historian, you have to be able to do that and be like, okay,
it's good to get it wrong, because then you realize, because then you'll know what's right after that.
Exactly. And and you learn it, and you go, okay, what I thought was the way for X amount of years is actually not, because I was never provoked really to go down this certain rabbit hole of detail before, and now that we have, oh, well, shit, I guess that's not correct. So, and that we're ever learning. Everybody in the advisory team is learning, which is awesome. And you learn too. Like, that's why I said in the video, you put out the update video, and I wasn't bullshitting you. Like, you're actually learning too, because when we say these things, because we keep you updated with everything that we were talking about and everything. And it's like, so we learned this today, and like, things that you might not care about, but you're still like, you retain that. So when we're talking about it, you go, yeah, and so this, and this, and it's like, okay, that's awesome. You're learning, and now you've got it correct. And it's like, so everybody's learning. It's actually a lot of fun, to be honest. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and learning from Bernd and Jorg and Devin and Brian, it's a lot of fun. And Luciano too. Like, that's great. It's so fun to learn things. Yeah, Bernd.
What I also really like is just this international flair we have here, coming together without any prejudgment or anything like that. That was never there. Right. Even if you joke around and you call me a crowd and I make some nasty remarks to you about Mexican, it doesn't matter, because we do. I don't say more about Mexican, so that if you want to enlighten people, that's your business. But however,
if I had more than one, I would be able to enlighten people. Let's just put it that way.
The important part, I think, is just that this is really international coming together without prejudgment, anything, with a goal to create here something real. And we have the Italian guy who supplies us really with all the background information we need from the actual scene. So that we can get.
Because you were asking about the limestone, right? So let's go into that really quick, because you are a professional pond builder. You have a business that you've had for many years, and you were asking Luciano about the limestone, and he was like, well, it was limestone, and you said, well, there's 100 different shades of that.
There's a billion different kinds,
And he looked at us.
But he was helpful. But he was helpful. He went out and got pictures.
A picture, and I was able to identify the shade we want. We just have now to figure out how we get it. So that's the point. But that's one of these little details. So already there we are. Even that we are looking into it. So there's the Italian influence, and then of course Michael, you is American influence, and he has the Canadian guy in the background. Sitting and also helping us and influences it. Then you have Jörg and there's a German influence, and I think that's just awesome, because the goal from all of these guys from all over the world, you can really say, involved in this war actually by nation, not them ourselves, but by nation. The Germans were involved, the Italians were involved, the Canadians were involved, the Americans were involved. The only ones who are missing are basically the British and the French, but they had nothing to do with the winter line. That was an American-German thing. Yeah. And so therefore you
British,
have
but-
all the nations which are involved. Yeah, in Italy, that's where it's placed. You have the Americans who invade the German Italy. Yeah, you have the Germans who get basically pushed back. And I think it's just great. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then it was funny because I got the smoke grenades from Italy.
Yeah.
You know, the props that the necessary props. And I told the guy that makes these, I was like, yeah, we're going to be doing a short film that takes place in the winter line in 1943. And he goes, interesting. And so I sent him a link to the film and everything. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna look forward to it. I'm like, yeah, you'll see your work in the film. And so yeah, it's a very worldwide thing. Like I mean, we're all towards the common goal, but like, yeah, you're right. We're all international people. I mean, Devon, from Canada, we don't know where his loyalties lie, really. Like, is he Canadian? Is he British? Like, what are we doing here? But
yes,
but it's all, we have the common goal of like getting it right, and that's why it's going to be really cool after it's done and it's excellent. It's like we've got all these people from all over the world that made this happen. You know, it's not just an American film; it's a worldwide film. Because, and another thing too is like what I was going to say is, this is a film that you can literally change out the uniforms and the way the guys look, and have the same situation in any conflict anywhere in the world at any time.
Yep,
for sure.
Universal.
At any time. And yeah, it's so universal that I think people from all over the world are going to be able to relate. Even though, yeah, it's in this particular scenario in this filming, it's Americans and Germans. Okay, it's still a very human sort of message, and the elements in the film, it's a very human thing. It's not one country or another per se. Like if you go deeper into it, so it's going to be accurately portrayed. It's going to be, everything's going to be down to the detail, but I think humans in the world everywhere will be able to relate to it. So,
yep,
for sure.
And it's someone asked in the chat here, will there be subtitles for when the Germans speak German? Obviously, yes, and there will be subtitles for whatever country wants to show this anywhere. So for whatever, if it's in Germany, it'll be English subtitles. There'll be German subtitles for the English-speaking parts, but thankfully we have all. What's that?
Also for the Polish part.
Yeah, for the Polish part as well. And
we have three languages involved. Yeah, we have three languages involved.
Yep, we do.
American English, we have the German, and we have the Polish. Yeah, and so.
But
Michael was saying, like, for every country that wants to screen this, we'll get subtitles out.
There's translation, yeah.
But so that's the thing. A German audience could easily watch it because all of the German actors are actually, they're not only speaking German, it's fluent German and it's correct German. So it's like, it's not going to be the crappy, fake German that I've heard in a few war movies. I'm not an expert. I don't speak German. Yeah. What's that?
A few.
I'm not trying to condemn all war movies here, man. But
a lot of them. Let's be honest.
Right. I was watching a scene on YouTube from a certain war movie where some person was speaking German in the background, and someone was like, "Why does that German person have a British accent while they're speaking?" So we're not.
You won't have that in our movie. You won't have that.
Nope.
Yeah?
No.
That's
and also, so like let's pay some attention to the American accents. Like the American accents. So Jared, the lead guy that's playing Audie Murphy, right? He's from Illinois. He talks like I do.
Really?
He has to portray a very thick Bernd.
Yeah.
I know you're starting. We'll get there in a second. We'll reconcile
with Chicago and all that jazz. Like,
no, but here's the thing: he has to speak a very thick northeastern Texas accent, like a rural Texas accent. It's not easy, right? Coming from a Midwest accent to doing that, he has a voice coach. He's got original people. Yep. He's got original people. He's got videos of Audie Murphy's family talking in that really thick rural Southern Texas accent. And so his voice coach is going to be coaching him on how to do it correctly. And he's an American, right? Others. Joe has spent the last several months listening to his character, his original character, speaking, and has been getting this weird accent that a lot of us don't know, the Maine accent. You know, if you don't know what the Maine accent is, it's the Maine with an E accent.
Yeah, that New England.
But it's weird. It's so weird. And so, but anyway, Joe has spent the last several months. He said he was listening over and over. He's listened to it 1,000 times, and he's been doing that. So even with the Americans, the dialect is going to be spot on to where these guys are from. And so the Germans are doing the same thing, and that's why it's going to be that much more accurate, because the Americans, people that watch it from the United States will be like, oh, that guy is from the South, like the guy is from Texas, or that guy is from Alabama or whatever. Oh, this guy's from Illinois. This guy, I don't know where that guy's from. He's from Maine. And with the Germans, the German speaking audience, the modern people in Austria, Switzerland, and Germany will be watching this going, oh, that guy's from Braunschweig. He's from Bavaria. Don't know what town. The guy's from Saxony. Oh, that guy's an Austrian guy. That's weird. That's interesting. And it'll be like we're all paying attention. Like on the American side and the German side, we're getting so in depth into the dialects, the specific dialects of each character and where they were actually from, or where they would be from. And so it's not, the Germans are doing their thing, but because I think a lot of people think the Americans are just going to come on and they'll fake a Southern accent. No, they have speech coaches, language coaches to get it totally correct, because it's not that easy. Just like with Germans, it's not that easy to speak a dialect and then just go to a different one and then bam, it just happens. Like
Jared, he really surprised me with that. He's working with the guy who did the voice coaching for the movie 12 Years a Slave. It's big stuff, and I was like, geez, I don't know how you swung that, but that's great. And well, I mean, you might also ask, why isn't he just because Audie Murphy was in tons of movies and there's a lot of footage of him, so you might ask, why don't he just listen to that? Well, Audie Murphy, when he became an actor, he had to change his accent so he could have screen presence. That was a thing back then. And actually, when you hear Audie Murphy speak in movies, he's not speaking with his natural accent. He's speaking with a screen presence, basically.
Transatlantic. Transatlantic.
Jared has to not only kind of replicate Murphy's voice, how he sounded, but also he has to kind of go back and actually put that actual accent he would have spoken with into it. So that's kind of, I'm already anticipating some Murphy fans telling me that he doesn't sound anything like him. It's like, well, he does sound like him, actually. The way you hear Murphy sound in movies is not how he would have actually sounded.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's going to be very interesting too, because at the same time, I'm not an expert on dialects, right?
Yeah, me neither.
Bernd is he's really good at it for Germany because it's a smaller country. It's more condensed. He knows, he's been around people all of his life from Germany, and he knows exactly how it was and how it was back in the 40s, in the teens, whatever. And that's what he specializes in. And so that's why I'm glad Jared got a coach, and we're going to work with the other actors to get their accents good. And so I'm also glad that Joe took the time to learn Kelly's accent.
That's a weird one, yeah.
It's a weird one, yeah. It's really interesting.
I was so lucky to get the only audio footage of the guy that Joe was playing, Martin Leo Kelly. I was able to, I was really lucky to get the footage, the only audio footage of him ever speaking from 1948, I think. And Joe has listened to it religiously, and he's nailed down that accent. And I remember when he was doing my video where he was reciting the speech, and at the very end I wanted him to quote himself. I wanted him to say Martin Leo Kelly, And the way he did the whole video with the accent, at the very end he was like,
Kelly.
You know, I was like,
Yep.
that's an interesting way of saying that.
It's
how he said it.
Yeah, and he's done, but it's taken him months. That's the point. It's like it's taken him months on his own to do that, and we don't have a lot of time for some of these characters. But like Jared is, he's got a Southern accent down just fine because it's not that hard to do, but that specific niche accent, and that's what the Germans is. We have a little bit more creative liberty with the Germans because we don't know who they were. We've tried to look them up. Yeah. We've tried to look them up. We really did try. All of us tried. And we couldn't. So we have to take some creative liberty of like, okay, these guys would have not been from the same town. They'd have been from everywhere. They're different ages. They're at different times, whatever. And so, right, who can speak German with a Polish accent, which is really hard to find. That's insane. But anyway. So Bernd is going to work on set, and so is Jorg on set with the Germans to get their dialects perfect too. So it's going to be because, if you watch a lot of bigger productions, they get a Southern twang, right? It's believable because it's generic. It's not specific. But with the Americans, we know who these guys were and where they came from. Okay, Laddie Tipton, Eastern Tennessee. Yep. Well, if you get some guy that goes, yeah, I'm from Tennessee. Yeah, I'm from Eastern Tennessee. It's like, no. That's not how they talk there. Because I've been there. And it's a great place. I love Eastern Tennessee. That's God's country, man. I'm telling you what. But no, it's a very subtle yet Southern accent. And the actor who we have portraying that knows that because he's from Pennsylvania. He's been down there. And he understands it's not overdone. It's whatever. So it took him time too, and it's going to take him some more time to just kind of get everything subtle yet. Yeah, he's from Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. Because Western Tennessee, they've got that. I'm from Tennessee, Hey, what y'all doing here? Yeah, y'all want to go to Waffle House? And, we're drunk right now. We're going to go down at 2 a.m. Let's just go to Waffle House, But Eastern Tennessee, it's, y'all, hey, we're kind of drunk right now. Y'all want to go to Waffle House?
Waffle House.
What?
Waffle House gut.
It's so good. Sehr gut. Sehr good. Sehr good. Yeah, Waffle House. Sehr good. Yeah.
And then, they do.
So yeah. Why don't we just go to the Waffle House here? Let's just go down. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Hey, we'll go down there. I'm gonna get me a pork chop. I'm gonna get me some hash browns with cheese, ham, onions. But it's a very subtle kind of accent. It's a very relaxed versus Audie Murphy's accent, which is it's like King of the Hill on steroids. Let's be honest. It's like, you get this rural accent. Everywhere rural is worse. Even up here, the rural people, they have a northern, Yeah, so the other day, I was out hunting over here, and it was some good shit,
These
and
people
they still
sound
talk
like
like
they
that.
just moved from Norway. It's like, come on,
yeah,
right.
Well, I've read a number of Audie Murphy's letters, that he wrote home while he was during the war, and he says he never says that, when you watch his movies, he never says this, but in his letters he says "thar" a lot, THAR.
Yeah, dar.
Yeah, over there. It's when he would actually do his movies, he had to change that, but that's probably how he spoke in real life. Let's go over there, or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that over there. What were you talking about? Y'all were saying? Yeah. And it's a very thick, rich Southeast / Texan accent. And then, so we're going to have to work this with the guys playing Roe. Because Roe is from a more western part of Texas, right?
Yeah, he was. Carlos Roe.
Yeah, so we're going to have to work with him because it's Oklahoma, but it's a little bit more south, and he was rural, and it was shit. So, even though they're from the same state, just Bernd's guys are from the same country, about the size, it's smaller than Texas. It's we're going to have to work on the dialect, and so that's the kind of detail that we're all putting into it, and the actors are putting into it too. The actors are all fired up. They're yep, I want to do this. Let's get it good. And, so, we're tooting our own horn, but it's worth it because we've been putting in a lot of work.
I think it's even amazing how the actors actually are pushing because they want to get it right. I think that's just amazing. Yeah.
Right.
When I recognize when we work with the German squad and how they are pushing, how they want to go 1-to-1 and practice and all. I think it's just amazing. But it shows how they are into it. Yeah, that's what I really like. So everybody involved is just completely into it. Yeah.
That's the real difference, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
when it comes to being in a production, you can assemble a cast of actors like anywhere in the middle of USA. They'll do it when it's convenient. However, like you do a movie in LA, which is just full of actors who are like hungry to work, they'll make it their life. So I mean, every production I've ever done, which is in LA, like it's the best experience because those actors are serious about it, and that's exactly when we assembled this cast. It was like these guys are real actors. They're not just a bunch of weekend wannabes, if that makes sense.
Except for Bernd. I got this cough. It's going on lately.
Bernd is not
for the movie, Mike. You are not part of the movie. You are not going to die in the movie, so you don't have to.
But I'm playing Bloody Corpse number 2.
Yeah, Bloody Corpse number 2. Yeah.
We just got to make it skin green and he's fine.
At any point, I could play Bloody Corpse number 2. So, yes, it's a jab a bit to the heart, but it's only a half jab, in my opinion. You tried.
Oh no, that one's stuck in your craw.
I mean, I tried first, I guess.
Bloated Corpse number 2.
Well, I mean,
we have to work on your cough. We have to work on your cough pronunciation. Yeah, it's not quite accurate. Yeah.
So do I need to smoke? Do I need to prepare for the film and smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day nonstop, just chain smoking like Eddie Van Halen style, or what are we doing
Mike.
here?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't been smoking
Devin,
I'm sorry.
So cold, yeah. So just cool. Yes, that is so cold. Yeah, that is so cold. Yes. Yeah, Mike. I'm sorry.
Devin's hair is okay though. Like it's okay.
Hey,
your hair. Like I'm telling you,
2 weeks ago it was atrocious.
Well, I usually give you shit for your hair, but like it doesn't look bad tonight. I'll compliment.
No, it goes really quick, so that's why I have to cut it so short. So.
My hair would look like trash
so does mine.
when I did the update video, but yeah, I got it cut too since then.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the Wrinkle Village going on back there, don't you?
Oh.
I'm already thinking about how cool that will be. Jesus.
You mean
such a long time ago, and now it gets all cold again. Jesus.
What do you mean?
Hey, but Baron, look at it this way. I mean, Baron, let's be honest here. You're an old guy, but you've still got great hair. There's no receding hairline. You've still got good hair. So, like, I mean, consider all the shortcomings that you do have. That's not one of them. So,
what do you mean, Wrinkle Village? When you talked about, what does that mean?
I was waiting for that.
Of your head.
Wrinkle Village. Wrinkle Village.
You got the
big
on the
knobs and fucking it's like the Wrinkle Village shit going on.
Oh, what is the back of your neck look like? A pack of hot dogs?
Bratwurst.
I'll be back in a second.
Bratwurst.
Yeah, me too. I'll be back. I gotta pee really bad. Do you guys want to take a fucking 5-minute pee break or whatever? Like,
yeah, sure. After that.
Yeah.
Mike's gotta go be self-conscious in the mirror now. I don't have backhead rolls.
I still look the same as I did back in high school.
Hey, I got them too. Everyone has them. It's a thing.
No, I know. I've noticed them.
Time for another barley pop. Just me here. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Fantastic as ever. Not sick anymore. Firing on all cylinders. finally, after all the diphtheria. It's refreshing. Sup? Oh, you know, just living the life, living the dream, hanging in there, holding down the fort. Which fur hat? I have more than one. Well, hey, if the EU lets you do it, Alexi, by all means, they're very sticklers for rules. I feel like they're enforcing rules they haven't even made yet. So, you know what I mean? I feel like they're making rules they haven't even made yet. The liver must suffer. It's only beer. Beer's basically water. Been drinking Everclear like the last 2 weeks. I know I have to eat yet too tonight. I haven't done that yet. I took a nap before the stream because I was tired because I've been working so much. Gotta make that money.
Hi, Devin.
Hello. Good luck. Look at that, man. Oh, the wedge hat? The wedge hat. It's a Canadian thing. Welcome back. How's your coffee?
German coffee. Oh, delicious.
It's very good. I can agree to that. Very good.
Yeah. And this is actually German coffee. So it's actually Jörg brought some coffee along. And so we have right now the situation that we have actual German coffee. And that's for Jörg and me something really big. Yeah, I know. So that's really cool.
American coffee is terrible unless you go for like all them like hipster micro ones, but they're expensive as all get out.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
You're discussing coffee with Devin.
We're discussing coffee,
yeah.
Just like you are.
With a German. I mean, you guys see, the whole time I have my cup here with me. And by the way, this is a classical German pattern. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's an onion pattern, as I call it here. And in Germany, Zwiebelmuster. And it goes back into 1700. That's how old this design is. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Michael, you missed a couple of coffee snobs talking about coffee.
We're talking about coffee.
Really? I like me some coffee.
See. All the cool people.
Well, they'll destroy the hobby for you. They'll destroy the hobby because they'll be like, yeah, and I grind it this way, and I do it this way, and I use these beans that have been pooped through a certain animal before I actually drink it.
Oh, the civet coffee's not that great though. It's too.
One of the last times we talked to Bernd, he showed us his huge coffee grinding collection. So I know that man is serious about his coffee.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I am. So.
Yeah, if he's not caffeinated on set, like he's fucked. Literally, like he's dead.
Want me to show this?
Yep, that's. Yeah, do it. Do it.
Okay.
Do it. That's World War II era, right?
Yes.
That's perfect.
Jump. Coffee goes into this hole. This goes on top. Crank goes in, and you grind your coffee. And the coffee is then collected. The ground coffee is collected down here in this cup. And then from there, you go and make your coffee.
Is that Bakelite? The outside?
Light,
yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Like it.
Love Bakelite.
And this is so detailed that it even has the spring clip here where you can set how coarse you want the coffee ground. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Handle can
Do you like fine or coarse ground coffee?
I like fine. Fine gives you way more aroma, way more flavor.
Depends on what kind of coffee it is and what roast it is.
No, it does not.
To me, it does. To me,
That
it does.
is, yeah, for American or Canadian, I understand that. In Germany, there's no discussion about that. It has to be. Yeah? So, I mean,
I'd have to say though,
Sorry.
I'm normally in agreement though. I do like a finer grind usually.
yeah, I like fine. Yeah, and nothing is better than when you actually have the beans and you actually grind them.
Mhm.
And then my great grandma from there, I have that when she made coffee, and you don't have these coffee machines like here. You actually have a stand-free filter, and if possible, well water. Really, not Iowa well water, which lots of fertilizer from the fields. Good well water, and then you make with that your coffee, and you put your coffee ground in the filter, and then you put a small piece of salt on top, just
Yes,
a little.
the salt, it actually does help a
Then
lot.
you have boiling water, and you first give just a little bit, and then you give the whole thing about a minute time to breathe.
To bloom, yeah.
It makes the coffee ground swelling up, and then you start to pour your hot water, and then it slowly goes through the filter down into the coffee pot. That's the best coffee you can have. Yeah.
I agree.
I'll have to have that when Mike and I visit in September.
You, not in December, in September.
Yeah, September.
September, yeah.
But coffee nerds all up in this.
Yeah,
piece.
we're gonna.
Yep.
It's a fantastic cup of coffee, though. Oh man,
Yeah.
takes forever to make, but boy, is it worth it.
It's worth it.
The
Yeah.
Krauts, even though they didn't have coffee, like the Krauts know how to brew it. The French and the Krauts. Let's be honest. The French and the Krauts, they know how
Yeah,
to
the French
brew
have one big problem. They put on everything milk, tons of milk, and milk and
Yeah.
milk and milk. There's no coffee left. That.
No, if you're gonna drink coffee, you drink coffee. There's no
Yeah,
milk.
that's what I
There's no.
say, yeah.
I never put creamer in my coffee or sugar.
No, that would be poisoning to the whole thing. I'm drinking coffee black, straight black. And I'm very good. I'm very good with the fact that the spoon is actually standing in the cup.
Yep.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, he likes that fucking. You like U.S. Army coffee then?
Oh man.
Yep, you like the U.S. Army coffee because it looks like muddy water and tastes like turpentine.
Like that was the best thing. You get
stuff.
those industrial coffee makers and like the DFAC that make like 200 cups at once, and you wait till literally.
Oh, it's like syrup.
And it's
syrup.
like road tar. It's thick. It has to like settle in your cup before you can drink it.
Well, it's funny we're talking about this because Bernd, when you and Jorg translated the dialogue in my script to actual German for the German characters, there's a part that you guys wanted to add in there about the type of German coffee that they drank, which was called Muckelfuck or something like that.
Muckelfuck.
Yeah, and it was made from like wheat or something. How is that?
It's a wheat. Yeah, it's a rye. It's basically a roasted rye. So it's a coffee substitute. The Germans had at some point trouble to get coffee beans and the real stuff in, and then they started, because Germany is just coffee, and they started. Am I still there for you guys?
Yeah, you're still here.
Yep, we're good.
Yeah, because here my screen just was went blank. So they brought basically a coffee substitute in, and the slang and term for that was Muckefuck. Which is dangerous to some American words, but it's Muckefuck. And we wanted that in the movie because it is just a typical original slang which perfectly fits for 1943. Yeah. And the soldiers,
the shitty air
everybody hated it. But it's what they had. Yeah. So
the Americans did it too, like Alban said, with chicory. Chicory root is a common weed around here that is used as a coffee substitute, and it has been since like cowboy times. So
gross.
It's a lot more bitter than coffee is, and it tastes kind of like grass, and it's kind of bad. So
I bet it is. No one ever said anything good tasted like grass. Good Lord.
There's so in the classical slangs, I just throw a couple of things in. Muckefuck for coffee.
Yeah.
Schlappgemacht. schlapp gemacht is like he didn't make it. He didn't have the strength to keep up. Schlapp gemacht. Yeah, das sind so klassische slang terms which at that time were just going, and that's what we integrate in that movie too. That we have this slang terms in, and it was really fascinating when we had your script. For Jörg and me, the goal was not to change the meaning of your script. That was very important. Yeah,
Right.
because that was good. But your script was, and don't get me wrong, Michael, your script was book English, or an English professor would speak. And that's not what our guys are. Our guys are the classical guys from the street. Yeah, that's the carpenter, that is the baker, the cook. Yeah, that are the guys we are talking here about, and they would not speak that way. They would have a different way. And that's what we basically brought into it. And Jörg and I, we worked quite a bit on it. It was also quite a bit of brainstorming. And Jörg was even in Germany talking with some of the old guys about it in order to get their feedback. And then Jörg and I were basically on a daily basis while he was in Germany talking, and then I asked him, can you ask that and that? And it was really cool. And then we finally got it together, and I think it was now 2 weeks ago when we gave you the final German version for it. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, it's
it was really good. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm that's it, man. I think you're just lagging a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
You're a lagging machine.
Mike, you are really, Michael, you are really friendly. Little bit.
A little bit too friendly.
You want me to be brutal?
Oh, shit.
Brutally honest?
Huh? Yeah,
do it. Be brutally honest.
Come on.
You're fucking dragging like a donkey dick, man. Are you dragging that much?
I'm what? No, I'm like. So what?
I said you're dragging like a donkey dick on the ground.
Now they come close to the truth.
Okay, well,
you're still very friendly, Mike.
We come close, but like it's still not good. Yeah, it's very. Thank you. It's very friendly.
I'm not good at that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there was about a hamster's chance in a garbage disposal that was going to be good. So.
Oh boy. The shit talking commences. Begins.
Yeah, Michael, here we go with Maxine again, okay?
What's that?
That's all right. He'll work.
Here we go with Maxine again, Michael.
No, he's referring to me like yeah, that literally means like I have one flickering brain cell just kind of bouncing around my head. That's what Bernd says to me all the time. He's like, you got one flickering brain cell, just flop it around there.
Just ricocheting around there. Your skull.
Yep. That's what that means.
Every morning he looks in the mirror and looks for Maxine and hopes that he finds Maxine. Oh my God. Mike, I'm sorry.
You're gonna be. You're gonna be.
Oh gosh.
Because like I have your tunic here, right? And what I see from your tunic that fits you and your sizes is, again, I could probably get one of my legs in here.
Could anybody understand?
It's like a David.
He was lagging again.
It's like a David
again. You have to repeat.
I understood him just fine.
Fucking Christ.
I understood you, Mike. Don't worry, I heard it.
Oh, so I wasn't lagging. You're just being a Klugscheißer. Bernd is a Klugscheißer. Or his internet is just as bad. Who knows?
Okay. I mean, it could be, but would I fit in that? I'm probably not much bigger than Bernd.
No, it'd be very tight on you. Very tight.
It'd be very tight on me.
Bernd is Bernd is a very frail, like small old man that's like circling the drain. He's circling the drain of the tub, you know? Like that's who Bernd is. and that's why this tunic fits him perfect, because this would fit a child, I think.
I mean, it looks
This
really
fit a child.
small. Yeah, so.
It's very small. It's very small. But I mean, if anybody can wear it, Bernd can.
Fair.
And then, what's funny is with the best part about this is, so Bernd's got his tiny little frail body, and he's got a fucking melon head, because I had to get a size 66 and 35 shell for his melon head.
I mean, that's the same boat I'm in.
So
I
that's fun.
Most smalls, but I wear a large helmet, so.
Right, and so you're the same thing. At least my fat ass, my body is proportional to my fucking head. Two clowns.
We just have more brain cells ricocheting around in our heads. Got to have that room.
With nothing. Yeah, how long can you starve?
Not very long.
A month?
I mean, to be
I can
fair,
starve for 3 months.
When I got sick, I lost like 12 pounds in the 3 weeks I was sick. So.
And you almost died.
I almost died. Yeah, that was bad.
Right, if I lost 12 pounds, I'd be like, woo! When I was sick, I lost 25 pounds. And I was like, we're good. Let's just keep going.
I can't afford to lose.
That's the thing, is like, right. And when I did, it was like, oh, we're fine. So, hey, I mean, there's that. With you skinny fucks.
My body can't cash a check that big and be like, ooh.
Right.
Yeah, that is for sure. We do not have a lot to give.
Devin, are you like actually
right?
Are you actually like one of those guys whose head looks skinny but his body's all fat or something? Because I've never even seen your body before.
No,
you told me you eat pancakes.
I'm pretty proportionate. I eat so much food. I eat all the time, but I never put on any actual weight.
Oh yeah, no. Devin, his head, it's the top of his head that's big, like above his ears, it's big. Yeah. Unnecessarily, it's ridiculous. Like he camouflages it with his haircut, his ridiculous haircut. But Devin, he's a pretty average sized dude, and he's seen me in person.
On my body because my shoulders are so broad for my body style, but that's it.
Yeah, no, you have broad shoulders. I'll give you that. And he's got a short torso though. That's the thing, is he's got a short torso and very long legs. I have a long torso and average size legs, but I'm also fucking you're 5'10". I'm almost a half foot taller than you.
For sure.
So it's all torso for you. Then that's why you're tall.
Yep.
So you're like, you got like these itty bitty hooves that you're walking on.
No. I've average size legs. I have size 14 feet there, clown. So no, I don't have little hooves.
What are you calling a clown with your size 14 feet?
Yeah, dude, that's a fucking contradiction right there. I got normal ass feet.
How do I come back from this?
Michael, it's very simple.
Okay,
If you have a fire going and it gets out of control, you just let him walk over and he has a feed for it. So fire patching. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. I don't understand any of that, but
no, I understand what he said. He said, if we have a fire, you can just have me stomp over all that shit, and it'll just be like,
oh, with your big ass feet.
But I'm still trying to figure out how to reconcile. Like, I set myself up for that one, and I fucked up. I will not use that joke ever again.
While you think about that, while you think about that, it's funny because my brother is 6'7" and he has size 16 feet.
Jesus.
So he's
that's not good.
And I'm 5'11" and I have 13 feet or something. I guess I didn't need to show you that, but I did. But that's not good.
You're gonna have it for the Wikipedia pages eventually. Now that you're a Hollywood star, so.
Hey, I'm not like Tom Cruise, who's fucking 4'9" or whatever. Most actors are. When I met Brad Pitt, he's as tall as I am. He was eye level with me. I was like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I could push you over. In the movies, he looks like he's huge and everything. But that's
Yeah,
the
but you
power
said
of movie.
you're fucking 5'10", like
5'11".
5'11". Okay, my bad. That's not short. What the fuck are you trying to prove here?
What
That's
do you
not
mean?
short. That's
What do you mean?
average.
You
Just
said you
like
met
me,
Brad
5'10"
Pitt,
is
and he was
average
eye
now.
level with you.
Yeah, in the movies, he seems like he's like
Like-
6 foot something. He was like
No,
right
he
here.
doesn't.
He does
Oh
to
my
me
God,
anyway.
no.
They do use a lot of creative angles to make him seem, just like with Tom Cruise, to make him seem like he's taller than he is.
Well, here's the thing: if you ever visit a movie set, like if you ever visit like the old school Western set that they still have at Universal, the doors on a lot of them are like almost go up to your forehead to make the male actors look taller, and then they'll have other sets where the doors are gigantic to make the women look shorter. It's weird. Yeah. So, but that's usually a way they used to do that back then, because like John Wayne in movies, he looks like he's like 6'7" or something like that, and he wasn't, And
What was he?
same thing today. What? How tall was he? I don't know. Let me look it up.
He was
Look
like
it up.
6 feet
Yeah, there you
tall,
go.
so.
John Wayne height. Oh, 6 foot. Okay.
Bernd,
I was gonna say,
you know,
he's 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like I said,
he
yeah.
was
6 feet.
It's tall
Okay.
for back then.
That's
Yeah.
fine. And but Bernd is a very tall actor. He's a very, very tall, very, very
That face.
commanding presence, right?
That face right there is the poster of the movie.
Yeah, the poster of the movie. Throw a helmet on that and slap it on a poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bernd is going to be the tallest. Oh my God. No, it's very interesting. Like, it's fucking Christ. No, Bernd, you're what? What'd you say? How tall are you?
Again,
How
How
tall?
tall are you?
I'm 178 centimeters, which amounts
Okay, so yeah,
to 5'7",
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, 5'7", 5'8". Yep.
I think, yeah.
So you're literally averaged like
Yeah.
height, good size, like normal sized European guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good medium height. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no,
That's fine.
it's fine.
I can dig it.
So Michael, you're 5'11". Jesus, that's unexpected. You're taller
What?
than Devin here.
You
Devin?
expected me to be short or whatever?
Oh yeah. I expected you to be like Tom Cruise size.
Why?
Well, because it's you. I mean,
Because it's me? Oh.
yeah, because it's you. Like,
I always
Devin,
figured
how
Mike
tall
was
are
6
you?
feet.
Let me
He's
know
taller
added.
than
How
I
tall
am.
are you, Devin?
5'10".
5'10", okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm still growing though. So
In my videos, I have to actually crouch
He has
down
to hunker
like.
down in some of his videos, yes.
I'm not shitting. Like, I'm not just saying that for comedic effect. Like,
No.
for
Mike
what
has
we
literally had to
like,
like
'cause
slouch to fit in frame. So
Yeah,
I'm in
it's
frame.
like- shit, and yeah, it's because I'm so 5'3" is it's 6 inches, almost 6. It's 5 inches taller than you, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, to make it look okay and believable, like you got
Yeah.
me and then Devin. And it's
I have to
fucking,
stand up extra
yeah.
tall.
I mean-
and he has to slouch. Yeah.
And being tall is not actually a good thing in all respects, because it's like,
that's what my brother always told me.
oh God, people at the grocery store. It's happened many times through my life, my
You
adult
make this
life.
for me?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, I can.
No.
And so when I'm buying things and they're like, they've got it stocked on the normal shelf and they've also got it stocked on the top shelf, I'm always like, I'll go for the top shelf, because most people, like, I don't want to inconvenience them, and like, it's fucking whatever. But yeah, I'm an ogre, and I used to be taller too. Like, that's just a funny thing. Like, I don't know, Michael, I told you this, but like in Bernd, I don't know if I told you this. I used to be 6'4", right? And then we went to Iraq, and I literally shrunk 2 inches from the gear we were wearing and what we were doing all the time. I
Compressed
shrunk
your
2
spine
inches.
right
I came
down.
back. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I was 6'2" when we got back, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so, when we got back, I gained an inch back.
Maybe that's just old age catching up with you, and you're starting to shrink already. That's what happened.
Well, it happened to me too. I lost about an inch, but I got it back, so it's a real thing. So.
Yeah, I lost 2 inches, and I got 1 inch back. So maybe that's the thing is like you always get 1 inch back, but so I used to be 6'4", and now I'm 6'3", which is fun. I should get. Well, we have a decompression table where you just lay down and hang upside down for a while.
You do that thing where they wrap the towel around your neck and then yank it.
Oh yeah, like on
no. This is something.
Table, yeah.
No,
they hook you and they just and
it's like
no,
yeah.
Right. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, not any sort of bootleg fucking chiropractor is gonna touch me. But no, it's a table that you lay on, and you slowly just kind of. It's on a swivel and everything, and you just kind of lay upside down and relax.
So you're saying you have one of the Peter hang-ups machines?
I should have done it because I could have been 6'4", but now I'm 6'3".
Fair.
So you're yo-yoing then. You used to be tall, you went short, now you're kind of in the middle.
I lost an inch. Let's not ingratiate ourselves here.
No man should ever say I lost an inch.
I didn't. In my dick, I didn't lose an inch. If that's what you're talking about, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Oh jeez.
No,
that's no, fisherman,
it was just weird.
That goes with fishermen, huh? You know how that goes with fishermen, huh?
No. Explain it to us, Bernd. Nope. You. Hey, here's the thing, Bernd. You cannot say something like that and then do the hand motions. It's like hanging a steak in front of a fucking rabbit.
Fishermen catch a fish which is 2.5 inch long. The first time they talk about it, it's 3 inch. Next time it's 5 inch. Next time it's 8 inch. Then at some point, and you were talking about something similar. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
With dick sizes?
That's what you were talking about.
Well, I suppose, no. I mean, it's dick sizes. Hey, here I was taught a proverb. I don't know where it came from, but I was taught a proverb from a very wise platoon sergeant that I had. He goes,
"Very wise platoon sergeant."
Hey, but listen. He's
right,
it doesn't matter how big or small your dick is. It pleases the one and only person that matters, and that's you.
I mean, it's true. That's great.
That man actually was not wise, because actually it doesn't depend on the size. What it depends on is how you know to use it. That's what it is.
Right. It's not this. There's also an old American thing that's probably old as shit. It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean.
I gotta remember that.
Okay.
So Barrett's thinking about it, but I'm right.
Okay.
It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean.
I don't know. I feel like I don't think a canoe would have plugged the Suez Canal.
Sounds for me like a lot of Hollywood. That's so it sounds
Hollywood. Bullshit.
Yeah. Sounds for me like a lot of Hollywood.
Okay, that's fine, and that's fine.
It probably is. Question, Bernd, have you ever tried to do an American accent before, or are you just stuck with the German one? I'm just curious.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
The point is, you guys know I'm living in Iowa, and the area where I'm living has a very strong Ostfriesian heritage. So about 80% of the people here in this area actually come from Ostfriesland in Germany, which is Lower Saxony, where I'm originating from. And actually, for my business, it's good to have a German accent. The people just love it. Right. And it's a benefit. So I never really worked on trying to work that out. Yeah, Jörg speaks a very cleaner English than I do, but I never worked on it
That's not
because
saying
the people actually like it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
But
It's just
can you
interesting,
try? Can you try?
I don't want to, because then I would screw up my natural ability of just having a nice heavy German accent. So I don't even
What
want
the
to.
Okay.
most American word we could try to get him to say? That's what I want to
Well,
know.
no, we've already talked about this. Like, squirrel is one thing he'll never be able to
Squirrel,
pronounce.
yes, squirrel.
He'll never be able to pronounce that.
I
But
don't
like,
even want to try. Das Eichhörnchen geht die Straße entlang. So, das ist viel einfacher für mich. That's way easier for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So einfach.
And
Yep.
no, I have one word that gives gooseskin over mics, or it's like scratching with fingernails on a blackboard. That's the word I'm developing this mic a lot of things. Yeah.
yeah. I remember that one.
That's
Yeah. Well, it's because it's French.
Yeah. That's what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a feud we have going on, but like, so Bernd, you cannot, like, in all your years of living in the U.S., you're going to be an American citizen here in less than a month, or about a month. You cannot at all even mimic a clean American like speech at all. You can't even like try.
There's not even
that's
one
fun.
phrase that you could say, like, "Where's your shitter?" You know, like when you bust into a restaurant or something on a road trip. So
that's fun.
Like I said, so here in Iowa, never had a problem with it, and I mean, you know, I'm running.
No, it's not a problem. But like, you just like living here, you have never developed the ability to like mimic the insanely, because like, okay, we were talking about Braunschweig is they don't have a dialect, right? It's the Hochdeutsch shit. Right. So up here in Iowa and Wisconsin and Minnesota, or southern Minnesota, most parts of it, you've been around these people for 20 years now. You are saying to me and everybody else that you have not developed an ability to even say one phrase in clean upper Midwestern American English.
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, it's funny because when I went to film school, there was a couple German, kids from Germany there. I remember one that I knew the most. She was from Berlin, but she spoke with a perfect American accent. Like I didn't even know she was from Germany for a while. And then eventually she said, "Yeah, when I come here, I use an American accent." She said, "When I go to England, I have a British accent." Like she switches. It's weird. So she says, "And when I go back to Germany, I have a Berliner accent." So I'm like, all right.
I mean, when you grow up in Germany, in Germany, in the meantime, through the reunited Germany, from the 4th grade on, you have English in class, but it's British English. Yeah, so you learn their basic vocabulary and all of that, and it's a British English, which they teach you there. And so when I came over here, I had a little bit connection. You guys know I played basketball. I was a referee and was such in Europe around and had a lot to do with American coaches and player. And so I had a little bit there, but actually my English vocabulary was not very widespread. And so when I came over here and when I immigrated, I first had to deal with that. And the first 2 years were really tough. I had visiting, so I'm visiting for 20 years and I immigrated 10 years ago. So the first 2 years visiting were very tough. Just with more than 2 people which were talking, I had a hard time to follow. It went just way too quick. And then so step by step. And the big kick or the big difference came when I started to dream in English. That was a game changer. From that moment on, I also started to think. Before, what you have to understand, when you come into a country, you know the language, not really good, but you know. And now somebody says something to you. So now the English words come to you, or the German words, and now you translate them in your memory. So now you have them translated, have that up here. Now you want to answer. Now you have to retranslate from your language into the other language. And then when you have that figured out, then you speak it. So that's a process which takes a certain time. And at the moment I started to dream in English, this whole process was eliminated. Yeah. Then I also started to think in English. Yeah. It for sure didn't help that Bernd grew up, his parents speaking Low German and English with him. And he speaks perfectly High German and also perfectly Low German, by side his native language, English. But that surely didn't help me when I was over here, because at the beginning, when we talked with each other, he always understood me, and he didn't correct certain things. And
Right.
Even in, and that's where my heavy German accent comes from. And like I said, here in Iowa, I don't have any issues with it. And I even customers out of state, in Minneapolis as a sample, and they don't have a problem with it. Yeah, so I'm able to communicate with them, and that's all what matters. And most of the people actually like it. Yeah, so
like we were saying too, we were talking about this, Bernd, is like you also spoke fluent German in that setting for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, like specifically like German. And so the older you get, the harder it is to learn a different language.
That's for sure true, yes.
You know, it's very hard, like the older you get, to learn a different language and people speak it fluently, and especially with the accent and everything. And even with me, like I didn't start learning foreign languages like accurately until I was in my 20s. And you know, I can speak to where people will understand me, but I still have an accent. And it's like it's just really hard to do that unless, even if you live there, you're gonna probably have an accent. So yeah, that was another thing. And but like when you, like you were saying, is that Bernd, because he spoke German fluently, he wasn't there to be like, okay, well, develop is actually develop, you know, things like that, you know. And it's like, what the hell else do you say that's funny?
That's what I quite often get wrong, is the pronunciation on the word. I put it on the wrong part of the word.
Yeah, but people will still understand you. Like we still understand you're saying develop. Like we know that. Like it's easy to understand. Like whatever, but it's not like you're saying something where everybody has to go, what did you say? We get that, but it's just kind of a cool accent of like develop, you know, versus develop and all that stuff. But again, you spoke that for 40 years, and then it's like you can't expect somebody to just pick up another language and speak it fluently. That's why we were asking, like, if you knew any phrases that you could mimic at least, because like there used to be a couple of phrases where I could mimic in German, like perfectly.
He doesn't get the idea. I don't want to be caught.
Who?
So no, I will not give you any phrase in English. So.
But you can. You just won't. How about that?
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to.
Oh, very secretive. Very secretive. But no, it's cool. It's again, if any of us were to, you could, again, we could, like you were saying with the German actors, like you're gonna coach them and get them to speak correctly. That takes time, it takes effort, and I mean that's only a couple lines though. That's not a whole language.
Right.
You know, if you're trying to speak a whole language fluently with no accent all the time, that takes a lot of work. And
I think we have only one actor in the German squad who does not have already an extended German background. Yeah,
but he's got a couple lines.
Johnny really learned the language already, so he's already quite a bit ahead. And I think it's just one actor we have who does not have that, and he has a very short line. And there I'm pretty sure we will be able to implement that very quickly with him. Yeah. And Joni is nearly perfectly speaking it, and it needs a trained ear to make the difference with Joni. Trained ear. And you might remember when we were in the auditions, I basically picked every native-speaking German. I picked them out of the lines when they were speaking to us. I came always around with the question, where did you learn to speak English? Yeah, it always came because I recognized directly, yes. Yeah, like our Austrian guy, I said, you speak very good German, but you have something in it. Yeah, I didn't put him directly to Austria. But then when he said Austria, okay, yes, that's very
it makes sense. Yeah.
So that was and it needs a little bit of trained ear for that. And we will be able to really get the guys to where we need them to. Yeah, so I'm very confident.
You guys are going to do a great job.
Also, because of his educational background, will be able to do with him speech trainings where they really actually get into it, and that will be really good. And so now I'm pretty sure that when this movie gets international, and it will, that this movie will have a big audience in the German language countries, which would be Austria, Switzerland, part of Italy even. Germany, of course, and then even some of the East European countries borrowing. The Polish people most all speak German. For them, it will also resonate.
And parts of France, too. Parts of France,
as a Slothinger area, So therefore, this movie, the point is, I'm not so sure. I talked with Michael about it. Because of how raw and straightforward to the detail we are bringing this movie, I'm sometimes wondering if the American audience is ready for it. I know certain guys will be, but if you look for the wide spectrum, I think that the European audience is way more ready for it than the American audience. But we will see. Just little thing there. And I talked with Michael about that. So because this is very to the point, and let's see.
I think it's going to take off in Europe before it takes off here, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've already had a little bit of criticism from some people here in America from this movie. I've had tons of support from this, but I've also had just here and there a little bit of people that don't quite agree with what we're doing. They would rather see things more in a positive light, and but I think you're right.
I think the standard template that every American media format comes in.
Right, and so I do think that the European audience is a little more willing to accept it. I think, as of right now, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's also going to be one of the first films that I know of that. Oh fuck! I'm lagging. It's going to be one of the first films that a European audience is going to watch and go, "Oh, okay, so there's no propaganda behind this."
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you're like, because Europeans are sick of that shit. I know. I know a lot of European people who are sick of that shit, and they'll watch this and be like, "This is awesome! Like, this is just no propaganda. It's just raw. It's how it is." And I think Bernd is right. Like, Europe is a lot more ready for this. And who knows where it's going to go? We don't know. We're gonna literally do the best we can. We're gonna make it 100% awesome, and then it's like we're just setting the groundwork for where does this go. And I think because it's gonna be international and it's gonna be all that stuff, it might flare up in Europe first. It might flare up and get really popular in Europe. And the core American fans will be like, yeah, this is awesome. But I guess the guys that are criticizing this shit will be like, well, fuck it, I'm not going to watch that or whatever. But then it'll take time and then it'll spread. And by that time, the Europeans will be like, well, hey, if you want to do this, let's go shoot some scenes in the original site.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's make this happen. The governments will be involved, and that's what we hope for. That would be really cool. Like, okay, yeah, let's actually get it more accurate, as accurate as possible than we can here. It's just gonna be there. We don't know what's gonna happen. We're literally we're dropping a bomb in a well.
Yeah,
is what we're doing. We're dropping a bomb in a well.
The result of Michael's work and us now supporting him in it will be something which wasn't there in this way. It will be
Right.
something completely new. And because of that, we have big hopes with it, which is good. It would be wrong if we wouldn't. And then we will see in reality. We talked a lot about who might want to see this movie and all. And we might be right with our ideas, but we might be also completely wrong. You just don't know.
We don't know.
That's what we have to look. But I believe, and that's really one of the things, I believe just that we all who lived to this time, especially so my generation and a little bit younger, we are just looking for something what is real. And that is what Michael is bringing us here. And that's where we help. It's real. That's something where you get the idea how it actually is. It's not beautiful to be part in a war. It's not beautiful.
Right. It's not.
It's painful. It is exhausting. It is killing. It is hurting. All of these words, which I'm just saying, they are there. And love and romance and stuff like that, maybe just a little bit faded on the side. That's why you have the war brides. So there is a little bit like that going, but way on the side. But it's not the wars itself. And so, and that's what I think is so important, what we are doing here. And I believe a lot of people want this, even if they don't know how hard it will be.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
it
completely
right there.
agree. So, help us make it. That's basically all I can say when it comes to this.
And again, Mikey's not getting paid. Mikey volunteered for this. So the donations are going to go towards the effects, the filming, the actual getting it done, as far as, all that's concerned. And Brian's also volunteering too. Like my cohort, my advisor buddy is also volunteering his time. There's a lot of people volunteering their time for this who are not going to be paid. And we knew that going into it. It's not like whatever. It's just, we knew that. So I'm not shilling for myself, because what I got out of this is the effort that I put into it is going to create a great product. And that's enough for me. Okay. A lot of people are on scene doing that. And this is going to be the start of something much bigger and much more sustainable, and it has a lot more longevity than the shit you're being pumped nowadays. So that kind of thing.
This will change the way war movies are made in the future.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure about that. It will change. Because the lack of detail, what we see in all the movies we are watching for, when people start to recognize that and then see it can be done, and it is not that it's not that you or I, that we are above everything. We are just normal guys. We are nerds in our thing. Okay, but it is something. If Hollywood would move a little bit more their butt and would do a little bit more research, they could make way better movies than they actually do. That's simple it is.
That is just not to, because they know what'll sell, but it's not selling anymore because people watch it, whatever. We're going to be trying to because we all grew up watching war movies. We all loved them. Okay, and we want to just make the war movie something that's realistic. So when people are like, I was interested in this, and I saw this, and when they go on to do historical research, they go, oh, that was actually accurate, that kind of thing. And also it's like there's very few war movies that show how it actually was on the very human level. Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers tried to do that. They tried to do that. And they got close. I would say they got close. They got close.
Someone just said here in the comments a quote from, I don't know where the source they got this from. It says it's just credited to Hollywood. Never let the truth or accuracy get in the way of a good story. And Yeah,
Sounds like Hollywood.
yeah, I know it absolutely does. I completely agree with that is a very Hollywood thing. However, I think that it's whenever I hear people say like, oh no, we had to change this true story to make it a good movie. We had to
Right.
things. Yeah, exactly, and all that stuff. And it's like, no, you're just lazy. You can't take the true story and make it interesting because you're a lazy ass storyteller. And that's the thing. It's like you can make something 100% accurate as you can make it, but you have to be able to be a good storyteller and find an interesting way to tell it. It can be anything. So that's what when it comes to this stuff, like, oh, you want to do this 100% accurate? It's not going to be good because it's going to be boring. It's like, no, I know how to tell this story. Yeah, that's bullshit. I know how to tell this story because I know how to take history and adapt that into a story. I'm not going to change the facts. I'm going to take the facts, use them as a blueprint to create a story without fucking up the facts.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also now I have to be careful because I'm coming again with my very heavy German pronunciation. When you just look how war movies have developed from 45 to now.
Yeah.
Just look when you take a movie from 45 and look at Rhine, and all the steps between. So there was a certain way of development, but then they also missed out on making it more accurate. Yeah, they still have this old way of quick, hush, hush, hush. Yeah, get it done, make it selling, make it selling. That is maybe the point here. Yeah, make quick money cheap. That's what it is. That's what I see here. That's where the difference is here. Even if the movie is not produced on $1 million or $2 million budget, you brought all the nerds together and you get the facts right.
Yeah.
Hollywood is not able to do that for whatever reason. Yeah.
Not right now, anyway. Yeah, I completely agree.
But that's why I said your movie will be the start of something different coming because the demand will come. People will recognize the difference, and people will value the difference. And then
exactly.
And
the difference is like it's going to be so good. But like, here's the thing: is like I have no credentials, you have no credentials, Jorg has no credentials, Devon has no credentials, Brian, he's produced things in the past, but he's technically like he's never gone to a film school in LA, all that stuff. He has no credentials as far as that. You're going to get a team of people that have no actual credentials as far as the LA I would see, the Hollywood I would see, making something that's going to be fucking awesome, because it already is awesome, and they're going to go, oh wait a second, what the fuck just happened? How did this team come together, this inexperienced team, and knock us out of the fucking water? Like, what are we missing here?
Well, it's a conglomeration of brilliance, basically. Everyone's brilliant at different things, and it all comes together to make something unifiably brilliant. And
and we're all not tied with money to some other organization or person.
That's what I was about to say. I said, if you're getting into this, if your goal when it comes to being a storyteller, or especially like when it comes to history, if your goal when it comes to anything involving history to make money, your priorities are fucked up. Like,
exactly.
That is not where it lies. If that's the case, then you are going to fuck things up in the long run. So, rant over.
You start when it comes to money, and that's your motivation. You start to cut corners on the wrong angle. So that simple it is, and then that's where it starts to get wrong. Yeah, if you cut corners, it gets wrong. That simple it is. Yeah, and that's what we try to avoid here under any circumstances, to cut corners. We even go the extra lengths to say, hey, we couldn't figure it out. We don't know for sure. We need to research this. We start to research. We start to ask. We try to find the right people to get the answers. And then when we have that verified, actually verified, not just blah, 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 really verified.
And also, nobody's in this for the money. Like, I'm not in it for the money.
No.
We're all in it to get it right. That's the huge thing is like, a lot of us are going into debt because of this, like not ridiculous debt or whatever, but like a lot of us had put in.
I'll still be alive. That's all I care about.
That's
exactly. But here's the thing: is like we're putting a lot into this to get it right.
Yeah.
We're not expecting to make money from this, nor in the future. If we get a $10 million budget, it's not like, well, we're not going to go into it going, hey, we can make bank off of this. We're going to go into it being like, well, let's make this right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have cash to do that. That's convenient. That's fun.
Yeah.
But like, we're going to get it right. And if it's not right, it's not getting released.
Right. And that's kind of, it's right now, it's kind of, it's weird. Yeah. Because I am focused on getting money for the movie because it's not going to happen without the dollar sign. However, if it's like, because I've had a few business people ask me, okay, well, how are you going to break even on this? What are you going to do to make money off this? Whatever. I was like, I don't care about that. I don't care at all about that. I mean, all I care about is that that we make it and people see it. That's all I care about.
Right. And that's it. As long as it's right, it's like, even if it goes nowhere, I'll still be like, hey, we did it right. We put all of our fucking effort into this. We made it right. I am proud to have worked on this because that's something that all my work paid off and it's great. And if it goes nowhere, it's like, dude, that's good.
I guarantee goddamn to you that like whatever, even if it doesn't become anything in our lifetime, it will some point in the
exactly. Yep.
in human history.
Yeah. And
remember, Michael, what I told you about that? I told you in 50 years, when the way of making movies has changed, and not just war movies, also Victorian movies or time period movies. Yeah, when the way of making them has changed and they actually work on making them down. And there's a talk show and they go into how that all came together. And it goes back to your movie.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I see here too. Yeah. So for sure, your movie will do changes. The question is just how quick. That can go very, very quick if someone get the right idea, and it can also take time, and the time can be from 1 year to who knows.
It could happen. Either way, I know that it's something that's going to be special, and all I care about is getting it right. I'm not trying to play to any kind of demographic or any kind of standard or whatever. We're doing what we believe, and it will definitely be something worth seeing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we've gone for 2.5 hours. I think it's a good place to end because Michael's little motivational speech. Bam.
That's right.
But no, it's true. It's like, it's fucking, everybody that's working on this is like in it to get it right. The money, if it ever happens, is a secondary thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm in it to burn Hollywood to the ground.
Well, yes. Shh.
Yeah, that's part of my motivation as well, and because I'm part of that, I'll be able to. But
no, it's that shit is got to stop. It's just got to stop.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing, though.
The point is very, very straightforward. Hollywood has already lost a lot of common business what they had in the past. When you see how much movies are now made in Europe or in other countries. Even when you look to China and stuff like that, where movies are coming and with different approaches and all of that. And Hollywood, if they want to stay in business, has to wake up at some point. And this movie could be the wake-up call. Maybe somebody in Hollywood actually gets the idea and then starts to talk with Michael about future projects. Maybe that's what we all hope for.
And we'll get it right. That's the thing is like we'll get it right. They'll fund it. They'll be responsible. They got all the credit and all that shit.
Right.
We'll make it right, and we'll tackle a bunch of really cool stories and things.
Well, and Mike, what you said, if it does lead to money, like if it does lead to making money off it, that's great. But like in turn, all that money would go to would be more projects like this.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is it's just reinvesting. Yeah.
Michael, that's the artist in you. Yeah, the artist never works for money. When you look, most artists die poor, and then after the fact they get famous. Yeah, I don't hope that for you. I see that a little bit different. Yeah, but that's a classical artist approach you have there. Yeah.
And agreed. Yep. And what I told you is, like you put in my little bio on your website, is I'm on a crusade. This shit has got to stop. It's got to be right. It's got to be right. And I just and here's the thing is, when we do this in the future, if there's competition, great.
Yeah.
You need to get it right. You need to get it fucking right. And if you get it right, we've done our jobs, because then they're starting to get it right.
Yeah.
Doing the research, putting in the hours, doing the weird research of like, what fucking color is this helmet going to be painted? What color is this guy going to be wearing? Like, whatever. Good.
How many dimples on the button?
Yeah, how many dimples are going to be on the buttons?
Well, let's not go that far.
Yeah, but like I said, this is not just the genre of war movies or anti-war movies.
It's every movie, everything.
Movie, yeah.
Take a Victorian movie and you see a lamp hanging from the ceiling. The movie is playing in the 20s, and the lamp was produced the first time in the 30s. And you see that in nearly every movie. Yeah, and you look at the wall. There hangs a beautiful clock. The only problem is the pendulum isn't swinging because the clock isn't running.
Right.
Things like that. That's just very simple fuck up, which is not necessary, which can
it's preventable. It's so preventable for 5 minutes of research.
Yeah.
Or talking to somebody. And that's the thing is, it'll boil over, because this is military history. It'll boil over, hopefully, to provide competition through all historical films.
And any time period.
Any time period. Any time period.
Yeah, if you take a 60s or an 80s movie, even there they screw it up, which is unbelievable, because there you have it so easy to get actually the stuff. Yeah, when you go back 20s or even 1800s, 80s.
Right.
When you go back there, it's harder to get the original or stuff which looks original. Yeah. But even there they fuck it up, and that is where the basic understanding is not there, because it is so easy. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. That's what I don't get. Yeah. So,
well, I say if you're going to do something, do it right. So that's basically where it comes all down to. We're doing it, and we're doing it right, and we're taking the steps to make sure we do it right.
You know the motto of my business, Michael?
What's that?
Do you know the motto of my business?
What's that?
Done right. That's the motto of my business. It's actually, when you come, you will see that. It's on my business card, on everything. Pawns done right.
Pawns done right. Simple and correct. Yeah.
You follow through with what your promise is. That's the thing. You follow through with that, and it's you could Michael could steal that from you and be like, films done right.
Yeah.
Well, right now,
I wouldn't mind that at all, because it would be fantastic if we can set here the footprint, and then later on movies getting better, more correct, more straightforward, more right. I would be very happy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been one hell of a stream, guys.
Yeah, I didn't make you throw up. I didn't tell you the story yet.
Throw up this time,
I didn't make you throw up, which is fun.
Save that for another one.
Yeah, you will, because it's even worse than the story I told you.
Oh God, don't.
Yeah, no, it's even worse. It's even worse. I'm just gonna say that.
Devin's about to heave.
Oh, it's not good. I haven't even told Devin this yet, and so it's
someday soon. I'm serious about this. Someday soon, I want to do a caricature of you, Mike, and with the voice bubble just says, "It's not good."
It's not good.
Well, here's the thing: is I said that a lot, and then I started watching Tim Dillon a lot, right? And he's like, "It's not good," and then I started saying it more, just in my everyday conversation. And I'm like, "Yeah," but like, so I said that like, "Oh, that's not good," but like now it's like accentuated, and like, so it's not totally an original thing, but it's also not. I mean, who can copyright that phrase? You know?
I would say that you've made it your own thing, because like when you say it, you don't say that's not good. You say it like this. You go, it's not good. Like that's how you
like
do
the
it.
hands and the accentuation.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, but like it's
You've made
but
it your
yeah,
own thing, so I think that you should have that. We should put it on a T-shirt, honestly.
Yeah, it's not good.
it's not good.
Not good.
It's not good. And then yeah, all the other bullshit. But yeah, no, it's a good stream, guys. I'm gonna probably see Baron. Should I make brats? It's dark out. Should I make brats on the grill with sauerkraut, or should I make hot dogs with chili on them?
That's also my plan.
I would prefer the brats with kraut.
I would prefer, yeah, fucking of course, yeah, the brats with kraut. Maybe I'll just have a sandwich. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
You do, I hope.
I actually don't yet.
Maybe he just goes to bed and cries. I mean, who knows?
Hey, all right, cool. Good stream, guys. Good stream, guys. Baron doesn't know anything about me. Bernd. No. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm getting food chat. Yeah, this guy's watched a lot of our streams. We usually end up talking about food anyway. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. And if you're watching this, how about this? If you're watching this after it's premiered, comment with Michael A is a gay because it rhymes. Just do that. If you watched 2 hours 35 minutes into this, comment with that, and then we'll see where your loyalties lie.
The next stream is going to be the other way around, man. I'm gonna have them say something about you if they make it through the whole. If it's like 4 hours, you know, I'll make sure it's
yeah, well, you didn't think about it first, so I fucking win.
Yeah, well, that's what you think right now.
Well, in the next stream, you're gonna vomit. You're gonna vomit next stream because
actually,
you will.
You will.
Since we had Bernd on here, who's playing the main German character in our film, one of the next streams we should have Jared on, who's playing Audie Murphy.
If you can find some time, yeah. Like he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy, and he's awesome. He's a great guy, but he's very busy. Yeah. So,
yeah, man.
All right,
let's hit it.
I guess, yeah. We'll say goodbye to the rest of you guys. All right, everybody. So I know you were just doing it, Bernd, but see, everybody's got a. Oh yeah, Devin with the Canadian salute.
Yep.
You had to resist. You had to resist. You had to resist doing this, so you went like that. Let's be honest. All right, later, guys.
Later.
Broadcast.